Hello, 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 buttons and bows and pantyhose. I'm your hostess with the mostest here, Alexander Rodriguez, with On the Rocks radio show, where celebrities and cocktails mix, and they've already been mixing. We are featuring your favorite celebrities from the mountains of Kilimanjaro to Sleepy Hollow to Shady Pines. Today, we are thrilled to welcome the gorgeous Vanessa Marano from Switched at Birth, Gilmore Girls, and my favorite, The Comeback, my fanboy crush, Brendan Robinson. You gotta say both names is here, from Pretty Little Liars. That is also the name of my knitting circle, by the way. We got the cute, the cuddly, Patrick Gilmore is here from Netflix's Travelers and Stargate Universe, with my guest co-host, Stan Zimmerman, writer, director, producer from The Golden Girls, Gilmore Girls, Roseanne. Whew, let the drinks begin.
Thank you for being
Boulevard.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
I'd like to propose a toast.
This is On the Rocks with Alexander, coming at you from Sunset Gower Studios in the heart of Hollywood, where I drink with your favorite celebrities and we talk about fashion, entertainment, pop culture, reality TV, and that's about it. So pop a cork, pour a glass, lean back, and enjoy On the Rocks every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Universal Broadcasting Network.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Oh, Lord have mercy. It's going to be a bumpy night. We're back. We've been on vacation for 3 weeks, and I've already broken all my New Year's resolutions. Did we make any New Year's? I mean, how cliche of a question is this?
I hate those.
I know, but
well, who does those?
But we all do.
What were yours?
I've already
Name
broken them, so I'm not
Name
gonna...
one.
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What was yours, Mr.
I
Stan
didn't have
Zimmerman?
any.
Not even one.
No, why do that? I want to do that every day. I make a resolution.
Okay. Did anybody here make a resolution?
No.
Okay.
So this is just dead conversation, apparently.
Yeah?
No.
Patrick, it's radio. You have to speak.
Yeah, no, I can't remember last time I did, because then it just adds to the disappointment of New Year's.
Oh,
You know
well,
what I mean?
yeah,
It's
it
also
tarnishes it.
anticlimactic.
Well, as actors, we're all making resolutions every time we open a script, right?
Absolutely.
There we go. That's the professional
Every time
answer.
we get out of bed.
Yeah. Say that tomorrow on Good Day LA when you're on in the morning. Get out of bed. But I got that flu cold that was going around, and I was in bed for like a week. Yeah. And I hate staying in bed. Well, on purpose. I mean, you know. But I didn't get that cold where you lose weight. You have like the flu cold where you lose like 10
I have
pounds.
that right now.
But it's lucky you. At least, you know.
You get to sit beside me, Vanessa.
Oh, wow.
No, but at least like when you have like the real flu, like you're not hungry and you can wear like a size you haven't worn in a while. I was hungry the whole time. I was literally ordering like Postmates and DoorDash while I'm dying in bed.
That wasn't the flu.
Then what was it? I felt like crap.
That's just
The
apathy.
flu, you're like puking it up.
Yeah,
right?
you just want
Yeah, I
to
didn't do
be in
that.
bed and watch TV, probably.
I haven't thrown up since 1977. Anyway, thank you to our sober listeners for tuning in. We love you. Thank you for holding our hair back and driving us home. Hello to our listeners around the nation on iHeartRadio, Universal Broadcasting Network, Player FM, Stitcher, TuneIn, Satchel, iTunes, Google Play, and of course we are on Facebook Live, on Hillcrest Social in San Diego, True FM in Ohio, and nationally on Reverie TV and Bear World Magazine. Rawr. Check out my weekly Bear World articles. That's right, Vanessa, Bear World articles. I'm the entertainment editor. My movie news, my movie reviews, my celebrity interviews. This week in my column, I talked about how Brad Pitt cannot get a date, and that is a true story. How sad.
It's
That's a
so
damn
hard
tragedy.
to be Brad Pitt.
He hugged me
terrible.
once at a party.
He did. He got high
I didn't
at a
wash,
party I was at.
I didn't wash my arms after he hugged me. He was still with Gwyneth
We'll
Paltrow
call him
at the
because,
time.
oof.
Yeah, there were a couple. That
was
goes
a very
way back
volatile
when.
reaction.
Yeah, I was just like, how much fun
He
would it
was
be to
very
date Gwyneth
sweet.
Paltrow? Don't eat that. Can't do that. Go to bed at 8. Woohoo.
Go to bed at 8.
Yeah, she's like the most straight-laced person, and then she names her kid Apple. Like,
Have
what
you-
went wrong there?
Have you seen the TMZ video where she's like on a moped picking up Apple from school and she almost like kills them all because she like drives in front of a city bus and just keeps going? And then like beat, and then Chris Martin pulls out with the other kid in front of the bus too. It's pretty great.
I'm going to check that out.
You should.
I'm
It's a
going
good
to.
laugh.
She has been in front of many buses in my dreams. Anyway, for our audio listeners, you can tune in to our video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and now the Hillcrest Social app has all of our live streaming video. Download the app for free on iPhone and Android today. They have tons of concert, product, and other giveaways, so check them out. 2018 is starting off with a bang. Of course, we have our fabulous celebrities tonight. Next week is our musician show with Ricky Rebel, Z Lala, and country music singer Casey Lansdale. Also coming up is Postmodern Jukebox's Danny Armstrong, who's heading off their European tour, and I'm really excited. Also, Bravo TV, MJ from Shaw's Sunset is coming back.
Oh my God, you like that?
She's coming back. And every time she's on, we know what happens. Also, the return of the Bravo TV boys, Craig Ramsey and Brandon Liberati. Cast members from Vanderpump Rules will be here in just a few weeks.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes. Hey, I always have a co-host. You want to come co-host that one?
Yes.
Done! Because I heard you're a Housewives fan, right?
Oh, I am a Bravo whore.
Yes! Yes. Be my guest co-host for that day.
I'm not even kidding you. That will happen. That will go
done. Maybe if you answer
Which is your favorite?
I mean, I'm a huge Vanderpump Rules fan. I feel it is the modern day Downton Abbey. I do, because I mean,
that's giving them a lot of credit.
It's the haves and the have-nots, and they're all sleeping.
And the have-nevers.
Have never. I saw Laura Lee at a few auditions. My heart sank, and then you're just bitter because you're like, wow, we're at the same audition, aren't we?
Instagram
I love Heather Dubrow though.
Yeah, I love. Aren't you bringing her on the show?
Yeah, I'm bringing her on.
Yeah, I love Heather, and I'm sad she left.
And she's a really good actress.
I could live in her house, and she wouldn't even know that I was there. And I'm a very loud person. Where does she live? She has like a 4,000 acre estate, and she had it built. It costs like ridiculous amount of money, but it is so big. Anyway, but you're going to be bringing her out. We also have some other OC Housewives that we're confirming the date for before I can say. Also coming up, producer of The Fosters, Evan Hansen on Broadway, and the new Stephen Schwartz musical TV show, Brantley Bredewig, is coming in. Have you done anything with him?
No. What do you mean done anything?
No. Wow.
Well, there you go.
He's a married man.
Yeah, okay.
No, but like in the producer world, because you guys run in the same circles. He's Peter
I know
Page's business partner.
Floaty Suarez, who I think is Rise. Is that
a drag queen?
Is that the show?
Floaty Suarez.
I
think I drank one once.
He's the producer. Are you talking about Rise, the show?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's producing that. He's a great guy. I met him at NBC. He was an executive there, and he's working with the producer of Hamilton.
Oh, fabulous.
He's producing that show, yes.
Awesome.
And he's also doing, you'll want him on the show, he's producing the Cher musical. I know, yeah. You
Let's hope it's not Burlesque, too. I cannot do that. As gay as I am, I cannot do that. Yikes. Fabiana Pascali is coming from FX Versace, which I'm so excited about. Also, Joanna Cassidy is coming back. Thank you, Joanna Cassidy and Walton Goggins. Walton Goggins is coming back for an in-depth Inside the Actor Studio episode. Thank you to Mulholland Gin, Vodka and Whiskey. So we got a lot of good stuff coming your way. Mama Rose, my mom, is usually in the chat room, but she's buying a new car right now, and she's been in the finance office for hours.
What kind of car?
I don't know. It's going to be a surprise. As long as it's not a hearse, we're all good. We're all good. I'm so excited. Welcome back to our On the Rocks family. Kurt Carlson, you've been gone for 6 months?
Yeah, about that.
Oh, and you didn't learn how to use a microphone in those 6 months.
Was it rehab? Where were you? Tell us the truth.
Not fashion rehab. Oh,
wow.
Wow.
Kurt, we missed you so much. No, he's going to sit down. We missed you so much.
Thank you. Apparently this mic is... Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, the prodigal son, because you left us for higher ground, and now you're back.
Yes, I am, and I'm glad to be back. Thank you.
I am so glad to have you back.
Yeah.
No offense to our other engineer who is in jail.
Are you serious?
Could be. Allegedly. Kurt, do you have a pun for us?
I always have puns for you.
Okay.
You know that.
You're so punny.
Yes. So, it's fun and all to... sing in the shower until, you swallow soap. Then it's just a soap opera.
Ha! Oh, that was good.
Wow.
Oh.
You should hire him for your next show.
What?
To punch up a script.
To punch up a script.
I don't have the laughing thing anymore. Someone took it off, so I can't.
I'm not
give
even
myself.
kidding you. My sister would die. My sister loves pun humor to the point where you're like, that can't.
That's all he does. He speaks in puns.
She's like, it'll take her. I got her a shirt once, and it had to do with like pie and relatively and math signs, and she just cracked up, and I was like, you are a nerd.
Well, there's a whole Instagram that's just puns. It's unbelievable.
Where's your sister right now?
Where is my sister right now?
Now, how often do you spend time together?
How often do I spend? I spend a lot of time with my sister. Yeah, I spend a lot of time with my family. Probably far too much, but I can talk to my therapist about that.
Well, your family Christmas photos, by the way,
oh my God.
Those were great.
I thought it was a poster for the reboot of Dynasty. I'm not kidding. I was like, oh, there's
Tell
another
them
poster.
about that.
So my mother, had been wanting to do a professional photo shoot for like 5 years. And me and my sister Laura were like, absolutely not. We're not doing that. That is horrifying. That's just not going to go down. And it was to the point where like anytime we would take a photo for like the Christmas photo, like we'd be in Santa Barbara and be like, oh, let's take a picture. My mom would be like, that's a horrible picture. If it was professional, it'd be better. So finally, after 5 years, we're like, okay, fine. We'll do a professional photo. And once we talked her out of the all of us in white shirts idea.
Oh, no. Welcome to 1992. Oh, God, you were barely even born.
I was born.
Barely.
Yeah. It was
You were born on a Halloween, right?
I was born on Halloween.
Oh.
Doctor came in a bunny suit.
What year?
No.
In 1992.
There you go.
Oh, Lord. But check out, what's your Instagram? It's at Vanessa
At Vanessa Marano. Yes.
You guys check that out. And also the Wednesday Addams Halloween pics. I'm
Aren't they
obsessed.
beautiful?
Obsessed.
So-
like, that's like a Vogue coffee table book, by the way.
Well, so we hired him, Noah.
Yeah, Noah Kentis.
To do our show photographs because
Yes.
I thought they were so beautiful.
They were so great. And you know, the funny thing is, I've gone as Pugsley Addams to every single Halloween party because it's the easiest costume. Well, I mean, I'm half there anyway. So.
I'm already at Wednesday, so apparently we should go to Halloween parties
Go together.
Yes, together.
Can we be dressed like that when we host the Vanderpump Rules show?
Totally. They wouldn't even know. They'd be like, cool dad, man. Also, welcome to our On the Rocks family, Greg Boyd, who will be buzzing around during the show, taking behind-the-scenes pics and videos for our social media outlets. Speaking of which, like us on Twitter, Instagram at On the Rocks On Air, Facebook On the Rocks Radio Show. Who uses Facebook, by the way? My analytics are so down. Like, people are seeing it but not interacting with it. I don't know. Anyway, subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm also bad at YouTube, but our videos are there, from what I understand. Find us on the web at ontherocksradioshow.com, where you can listen to all the past episodes there. Send me an email, book me for a wedding, funeral, quinceañera, bris. I don't care. I will show up. Info at ontherocksradioshow.com. Make your travel plans for February 8th to the 11th to Palm Springs. 10, you should come. I should
Invite
bring you
me,
out.
yes.
I will be emceeing International Bear Convergence at Hard Rock Hotel in Palm Springs.
Do you know what a bear is, Vanessa?
Okay, so
Let's
are we
just-
talking about the gay community term
Yeah,
for bear?
that-
Okay, yes, I do.
You do? How would
Yes.
you know that?
Well, I mean,
She's in the industry. Hello.
also, I'd like to think I'm a gay man on the inside.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, us bears. Bears, otters, cubs. There's salmon. Did you know they've added salmon?
No, I
what's
love
salmon?
I love
So-
salmon.
Yeah,
Is that
so the
hairless?
salmon, it's hairless, young, nubile, but it's the bears clawing at them.
Oh.
So that's salmon.
clever.
Yes, very clever. Anyway, so I'm going to be there. I'm emceeing and I'm filming for Bear World TV. So
What
all of
days?
their shows, the 8th through the 11th, I'm filming all those days.
So is this entertainment just
February.
strictly for bears?
No, I mean, they have some great performers from like the pop world. And it's like a pool party and then there's like dance parties. I haven't gotten my full schedule.
Where are we staying?
Hard Rock Hotel.
I'm done. I'm
Yeah,
there, down there.
totally. So they're building a little like on the rocks, like little area by the pool. I'm going to be broadcasting, and I'm also crashing their other TV shows as like a
that's
guest
funny.
co-host.
Yeah.
And they're going to turn it into an hour special that you'll be able to find somewhere else. Speaking of TV, make sure you pay your cable bill because I am coming into your homes on national television.
Uh-oh.
Very, very soon. Details to follow. I think in 2 weeks I can say something.
That's exciting.
Very exciting.
Oh, you're a tease.
Thank you, Patrick Gilmore. Thank you to our sponsors, Mulholland Distilling. Of course, it's our celebrity-owned distillery right here in Los Angeles. In good times and bad, all will drink. If you don't drink water, drink this product. Gin, whiskey, and vodka. And I don't usually drink gin, but it's
It's
so
very
good,
tasty.
you guys.
So they make it in L.A.?
Yes.
They
Isn't
make it
there like
on
a-
Mulholland?
Isn't there like a law that you can't make liquor in L.A.? Because I know there's only one winery.
It's not like right in the city of Los
Okay.
Angeles. I think it's south more, like Torrance area.
Okay.
But their tasting room is in the art district, and of course the co-owners Joanna Cassidy and Walton Goggins, and then Matt Alpert runs it, and he's amazing. So we're going to be filming actually an episode live from their tasting room coming up. And I'm very excited.
Joanne Cassidy, as in like Blade Runner, Joanne Cassidy.
Blade Runner, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, 6 Feet Under,
Amazing.
Odd Mom Out. Mhm.
I accosted her at my dentist. And I said, I
told you to, remember?
I know, and I
Yeah.
went up to her and said, I'm friends with Alexander. And she was
She's
very,
like,
very nervous.
that laugh, yeah. Well, I stalked her at a Pamela Anderson book signing. I literally ran after her because I've been the biggest fan.
Wait,
and then
Pamela
I-
Anderson wrote a book?
Yeah, that's what
And
I was.
you
Let's-
went
let's
to the
stop
book
there.
signing?
There were a lot of pictures and a lot of Photoshop.
And very big print? No.
It was a pop-up book. It was
That
a
would
scratch and
be
sniff.
cute if it just...
I wouldn't want to scratch and sniff. Anyway, but it was a photography kind of book.
Okay.
Anyway, but I was such a huge fan, and if you're a celebrity and I see you out and about and I want you on the show, I will follow you home.
That sounded like a threat.
How many restraining orders do you have?
Patty LuPone literally has one on me. I flew into New York to see her show one night, and I sat at the very front. It was my birthday, and I was like, "It's my birthday" during the show. And then
that went well.
I've met her a few times because I spilled water all over her dressing room table after a show, all of her makeup. Yikes. Anyway, thank you to Testloop. Testloop is the only way to travel in luxury from Orange County, LA, to Palm Springs and San Diego. You ride in a Tesla for less than an Uber. It's so fabulous. Go to testloop.com. They have routes leaving every single day at every hour you could want. Panache Optical Gallery, of course, is our celebrity. Custom-made eyeglasses, retro, nouveau. What's the opposite of retro? If you don't say retro, but it's like on the edge, like cutting edge.
Nouveau?
Edgy?
Nouveau. There you go. Retro and nouveau.
Oh, there you go. Something with a no.
I'm gonna adopt twins just so I can call them Retro and Nouveau. Also, our final sponsor that's been with us since day one, Spunk Lube. A little dab will do you. Gay, straight, in between, you need some. All right, let me formally introduce my co-host for today. We used to give out free bottles.
I know.
But we're
That's
out.
the reason I'm
You
here.
You
yes.
took the whole box with
I
you
took
last
the whole
time.
box.
You
There's
said
no lube?
It was for Pledge the Play, is what you said.
My publicist promised me I'd be getting lube on this.
You will. I will send you all your own bottle. Usually we have a whole box here, but we ran out. Anyway,
sorry.
let me formally introduce my co-host for today. Coming back to the show, Stan's worked on many television series, including The Golden Girls, Fame, Roseanne, Wanda at Large, and Gilmore Girls. He also wrote and directed Skirt Chasers and Sex and Execs, web series for Tello Films, with Sex and Execs garnering an Emmy nomination for Mindy Sterling.
We love her.
We love Mindy.
That was so exciting to go to the
She drank
Emmys.
almost a whole bottle of this.
Yeah, we gotta
last
stop
time
her.
she was
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
She was
yeah.
so funny though.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, you need to work with her because
Yeah.
she's
I love
so
her. She worked
You
with
guys
my
would be
sister
so
on a
funny.
short, and then a friend of mine is a Groundlings member. So I've done a few shows at the Groundlings, like as like a guest
Really?
person. As a guest person.
Wow, I
So
wanna
you know,
fun.
like they pull
Yeah.
out a celebrity, and then all of them are funny, and you just stand there and go, "Ah, look, I'm doing great."
Oh, invite me next time. She's great. I've done like 5 shows with her.
She's
We're in
so
love with
funny,
her.
and I just love her.
Where did you meet her originally?
Geraldine Flood, a casting director.
I love Geraldine
Yeah,
Flood. Why do we have so many people in common?
It's weird. I was directing my first play actually.
Retro
10,
and Nouveau. Do you
10
see how
years
it works?
ago at the Celebration Theater called Gemini, and Geraldine said, "I hear Mindy Sterling wants to do a play," and I said, "She'll never do a play," and she came and. We've been fast friends ever since.
She's fabulous.
But to go to the
Love having
Emmys with
on
her
the
this
show.
year
Yeah.
was so exciting for her.
I was so jealous of you guys because I love hanging out with you guys, and I was like, God, you
we
guys
had a
must be
good
having
time.
so much
We
fun.
did have a good time.
Anyway, Stan has worked with literally every actor you love and some that you hate. And his stage work has received many Broadway World nominations, including Yes, Virginia, again with Mindy Sterling, Heartbreak Hotel with Melissa Peterman and Marissa
All
Janet
6
Winokur.
actors got nominated this year. How
Well,
crazy was that? Thanks to you.
I was on the nominating committee.
Yeah.
And the minute I got that email, I logged in and I voted for everything that you
thank
did. And
you,
of course, I texted you.
Yeah.
I texted Melissa Peterman. I texted Mindy Sterling.
Yes.
I had to show off. Okay. Anyway, also, the most recent big thing that you did was, of course, the New York benefit reading of the play. Right before I go, you guys listen to this all-star cast. Included Ellen Burstyn, Judith Light, Michael Cerveris. He's okay. Malik Pancholi, Alice Ripley,
Malik.
Malik.
Pancholi.
Are you? I'm so in the know,
Yeah.
but I love him.
He's fantastic.
He was in the comeback
From
too.
30
But
Rock.
you guys didn't have any scenes
From 30
together.
We
Rock,
didn't.
yes.
No.
Yeah,
great.
so great. Alice Ripley, Amber Tamblyn, and of course Vanessa Williams. And currently his directorial work can be seen on stage in the LA area at the Complex Theaters in Hollywood. Pledge, a play that I was at opening night with. I literally think I drank a whole bottle of rosé at the after
You're the
party.
one that. Yeah, it's all gone now.
I literally turned
I
around
was
and
about to
everything
say,
was
there was
gone, by the
rosé?
way.
Yeah.
I was like, there was rosé.
Yeah.
Because I
There
wanted to
wasn't
keep
a-
it light that night, and I thought, well, a
yeah,
rosé would be
and
good.
you did, yes.
Anyway, Stan has directed everybody, written for everybody, and still has yet to cast a hilarious husky Latino, but we love him anyway. Welcome, Stan Zimmerman.
No applause. There we go.
There we go.
Okay. Thank you. A stadium full.
A stadium
As
full.
it should, yes.
Okay, so I want to talk about all of the names that you've worked with.
Yes.
At this point, do you get
You
starstruck?
want me to list them in order?
No, because we'd be here forever. But literally, you've been part of some very iconic moments. Of course, you were WGA nominated for the Roseanne episode for the lesbian kiss.
And the Golden Girls.
Yes, Rose, the mom one.
Yes, and we filmed it actually on this
Dallas
soundstage here.
Studios.
Very exciting. So there are ghosts for me here. Every time I walk through, I just feel what it was like to be a child coming here and being so nervous. Of course, none of us knew at the time what Golden Girls would beat Golden Girls. It hadn't, when I started, it hadn't really been on the air. So we were just, here's a show with these classic people. We knew that was big, but we didn't know audiences would respond because no one thought that who would watch a show about a bunch of older ladies. And they did.
Me.
Yeah.
Was it on the air when you were born, though?
No, but there was a thing called
ended.
Nick at Night that
right,
caught
yeah.
Vanessa up on a lot of great
Thank
television.
God, we
Because
love
Golden
that.
Girls, after it wrapped, it kind of went away, and it's had this resurgence like Bob Ross.
It didn't
Do you
really
know what I mean?
ever go away. It kind of was always in reruns and syndication,
Okay.
and then when
Says-
Nick at
But
Night.
it
Took
and
a few
then-
years
Right,
for it to
Yes, yes.
Yeah, to get
Which
that heat
somehow
that it has
pays
now.
my mortgage.
Literally, it's on, and I literally go to bed every night watching it because it's on the Hallmark. They do like a 3-hour block.
yeah.
And in the mornings they have it on. So I literally am watching it every single
It's so
day.
odd when young people come up to me and they're reciting lines from it that people know, and I don't remember any lines that I write. It kind of, even when I'm pitching lines, I say them and I forget them. That's what's so great about having a writing partner, because I'll say, "What did I say?" if he's laughing, and I won't remember.
But one of my favorite ones, the lines that you wrote is like, he's a little bit older than me, and then she says, "And
my
what, Blanche? Dog years?" I use that in West Hollywood all the time. I should open
And
a
that
bar
was a
called Dog Years.
line that was in our first draft, and as you all know because you've done many TV
Oh, wow, it
shows.
stayed?
It stayed from just our little rough draft all the way to the end, which in a sitcom is completely
It's
rare.
very rare.
Yeah.
So Stan, I got a few questions.
Oh, no.
Directed all about Roseanne. You know, Roseanne is coming
The
back.
reboot.
In
I
reboot.
know, people can't wait to talk about
Now,
it.
are we a fan of Roseanne or are we not? Are we supposed to like her or are we not?
That's a
I put you right on the
complicated one.
spot.
You did. I love what she did for me, and she was such a fighter. I wrote the lesbian kiss episode, and ABC was not going to air it because you couldn't have two women kiss for 3 seconds on TV back then.
That's insane.
And she was, and her and Tom Arnold were married at that time, and they said if ABC doesn't air it, we will buy it and play it on HBO. So I love her that she really put them to the test.
She had some big cojones.
She did. And
Yeah.
so she really fought for it. She got on the air, and I feel like it was really a stepping stone amongst many other shows like 30-something to get to Ellen and Will and Grace and all of that. So,
Well, especially for her audience, too. I mean, talking about subjects like that.
but that was her life. I mean, her sister's a lesbian, so I am very disheartened that she is a Trump supporter.
We're not political on the show, so if you are a Trump supporter, so be it.
Well,
Here's to you.
Vanessa and I have gotten into over rehearsals. We could just like get into politics
It's
for like
it's
hours.
amazing that
Yeah.
we got any
I don't know how
rehearsals
we
done.
did. Yes, because we could just go on and on about that. I think it is important because there obviously is. He did get elected. There is that voice out there. So I do think it's important that we show what that voice is and talk about it and open up the
That is-
discussion. I think
yes.
discussion is very good. Shed light on everything. Don't
Informed
push people
discussion
away.
is
Is
very
she
good.
openly?
Yes, she is.
Really?
Just go to her Twitter account. But
But
then
she
when
loves
you,
the gays, too.
yeah, so that it's very, very complicated. So I don't want to boycott the show. I'm very curious to see what it is. But she does seem slightly misinformed about certain issues, and that she thinks that he is better
She
than.
ran right during
Yes, she
Obama
did.
Romney,
Yeah,
right?
yes,
yeah,
yes.
because that was.
But you have to
For
president. But when people say
laugh,
like,
Brendan
yeah,
Robinson.
okay,
Yeah, I was gonna say this.
We
is,
have seen crazier things.
This is the world we live in now.
we love her to death.
Yeah.
And this will all be in my book. But during one episode,
Zimmerman files.
after no, I'm writing a book called The Girls from Golden to Gilmore about all the wonderful women that I've had to work with. And now you're in the book.
Yes.
That's why I did the play. to
That's
get
the
into
only
the
reason.
book.
Yes.
I'm a wonderful woman you've worked with. Am I in a book?
You'll be in the book.
Called
in
After Parties.
In the appendix.
I don't have my.
There was
okay.
one episode where we did table read, and then Roseanne and Tom Arnold went behind the set, and we heard screaming, fighting, and then all of a sudden a door slammed, and then Tom Arnold came out and said, "Roseanne's going off to get electric shock. Write her out of the episode." And we're like, "But it is called Roseanne, so what do we do?" And she was gone, and she came back, and everything was feeding the monster. They just had to keep making episodes because back then we didn't just make like 10 little episodes.
Yeah,
we made
that
like
was
25.
machine.
A machine. So maybe that had, zap her, and then she's feeling like Trump is the right candidate. I don't know.
It's all the electric shock.
I don't know, but I'm
It
going to
should
give
be
them the benefit of the
interesting.
doubt. It's going to be interesting. Let's watch it. I hate like prejudging anything. I hope.
Plus,
for
I mean,
her.
it's not. I mean, the show literally became about so many other storylines as it went on. I mean, of course.
But let's
with
hear her point
daughter.
of view,
Yeah.
and that's here, in conjunction with Laurie Metcalf's character.
I'm just glad Laurie Metcalf's going to get a sitcom salary now because she's done amazing work on these small
we
independent
love
stuff.
her.
Did you guys see
Love her.
Getting On
That was my
HBO?
favorite show.
Yeah.
But Niecy Nash,
Fantastic.
come on.
So good. And Alex
Every-
Borstein. Do you know
everybody,
that Alex
everybody.
Borstein is one of the richest women in television? Yep.
Really?
She's like in the
Gilmore,
top 10.
Gilmore, yes, a Gilmore actor.
Because she's produced a lot
Yes.
and those animations.
well, and also Family Guy.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but I love that in that show it showed her other side of being dramatic.
Love
and
that
funny
show.
and real, and I wish they'd bring.
She was
it
on the
back.
Louis C.K. Show. I can't remember the name of Pete something and Pete.
What was the
Horns
name of
and Pete?
that?
Horace and Pete, and
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
this monologue she did, and it was just her and Louis sitting at a table, and it was, I guess, what were they, partners, or they were married at one point? It was about him cheating, or no, she was going to have an affair.
No, it could be about a lot.
No, but the whole monologue was her having an affair with her father-in-law. That's what it was.
Oh.
And it was one of the most
It happens.
amazing monologues. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but the whole show was worth it just for her.
I saw
That
Lori
one
in a
scene.
show off Broadway when I was at NYU, and she in a play called Ball McGilliard, and she was with Steppenwolf, and that was the first time they brought a play to New York, and she literally had like a 3-page monologue, and I would go back like 3 or 4 times and bring friends, and it was just an acting class watching her.
She's so good.
live.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, anything she does is just so wonderful.
Getting
So-
back to Roseanne, though,
Yes.
which daughter is coming back?
Both.
Both.
I mean,
They're doing a
Lacey's coming
fun-
back as the main daughter,
Yeah.
but there's
Sarah-
something with Sarah.
Sarah Chalke
Yeah.
coming back?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting
There's
3
3
over there.
daughters? Oh, he's got a story. There's
Go
another-
ahead, Greg. You're part of the family now.
Okay.
I was playing charades back there.
The 2 girls that played.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Darlene's coming back too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
No, I meant the one that was played by
Yeah,
Sarah
so I
Chalke.
came on the year that Sarah Chalke was brought on, and
I
she
like
was
her.
so
She's
fresh.
great.
That must
and
have
new.
been tough, by
it
the
was
way, to
tough
come into
because
that.
Lacey just had this real quality that was so rough and tumble, and I so believed her. And then Sarah came on, and she's so beautiful, and she had never done a sitcom. And to throw her into that whole environment, it took her a while, I think, to get her sea legs. And now I think she's a great comedian actress. But at the time, it was a little hard.
So when
to
you
get
say
into.
they're bringing both back,
We don't. Yeah, they're doing something crazy
okay,
with
we
it.
don't know who's going to play the actual
Yes.
role. And
then I went to Moscow 2 years ago to help them develop a Russian Roseanne show.
What was the
that
title?
Was insane. Katya.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was first Roxana, something like that, and
could
they thought
see
it was too
Roxana.
close.
Yeah.
and so that was an interesting to be there before all.
That's got to be so weird. Well, they tried to make AbFab happen here. David Mamet's daughter was Safi.
Tested for it.
Oh, you did?
Oh, you would have been great.
Yes.
I see
You would have
that.
saved that from pilot.
Wait, was that
hell.
when Carrie Fisher did it? Because
No.
Roseanne did a version of it with Carrie
Yeah,
Fisher.
because she had
She was
the 2
obsessed
on
with
her
that.
show on Roseanne.
Yeah,
Remember, Pat Zanetti were on 2 episodes of Roseanne.
No,
I'm
it was
so gay. you
It was
guys.
Catherine Hahn and oh my god, I'm blanking on her name from Third Rock from the
Yeah,
Sky.
yeah.
Oh, Kristen Johnson.
There we
Yes,
go,
yes,
yes.
yes, yes.
Yeah, it was the
But
two
they
of them.
couldn't
It's
smoke.
like a game show.
But they couldn't smoke, and like the drinking was to a minimum, and they couldn't do
What is
cocaine.
that? Yeah, that was.
Yeah, so
Back
then
in
it's
the
not.
I mean, in front of the
AbFab.
camera.
It's not a fab, yeah.
It was
I would love to have a channel.
Drab fab.
A channel of all like pilots that never went.
that. I would watch that network.
I could
Also,
sit there all day.
That's,
yeah,
that's
just smoke
programming for days.
Yeah,
by
just
the way.
smoke pot and watch that for hours on end.
Okay, one of the last questions before we get going, and I got this a lot. We have a lot of friends, mutual friends that listen to the show that are in the entertainment industry, and they want to know, because everybody wants to work with Stan Zimmerman, what do you look for most in casting? Because you actually started off as a casting person.
Well, I started off as an actor.
Well,
And
you were
then I went to
you were in the
casting.
background in Risky Business.
I
wouldn't call that
was.
acting, sir.
And Zelig. With
I thought
my Woody
you
Allen
started
movie.
in puppetry.
I started, yes.
Of the-
They'll tell
To
you
quote
stories.
Stan Zimmerman,
Yes.
I don't talk about the puppetry.
Yeah. When I was a child, I did do puppets and then
Well, because you did
marionettes.
your own network in like your own house.
Yes, I did that.
Yeah.
So the question is, what do I find?
What?
in
What?
actors?
What?
this is
When he
like
was
a
kid-
Wayne's
I
World thing.
created
Yeah,
my
he
own.
did.
I created my own network, and I had a board, grid, and I literally programmed against all the other networks 7 nights a week. I know it's crazy.
Your
I
poor
wish-
parents. I'm
I
just
know.
kidding. I'm joking.
They didn't
I'm
even
kidding.
know what was going on. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I would save shows that were canceled that I thought deserved a second chance. Or I love Lily Tomlin, so I gave her own variety show because, of course, she deserved it.
That was
Have
fun.
you told her this?
Of course, I told
We have
her.
a picture of
yes.
you guys. You guys were like in
Me and Lily?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got to be friends, which was crazy because as a child, I was just obsessed with her, and so it was odd to. I've had a lot of these full circle moments.
Yeah. Well,
So, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
as big as the business is, it's a really small circle.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what do you look for
actors-
most? Yes,
a
Kurt,
good
that is
question.
Lily Tomlin. Kurt is very straight, so he has no
He has
clue who
idea.
most of our
That's
celebrities
Lily Tomlin
are.
and my friend Julie Saxey.
Yeah.
Right there on the right.
Saxy. I wish my last name was Saxy.
Sexy.
Yeah.
I look for the right person in the right part, and it's
does
just
that mean? That
it's
sounds
just
general.
a vibe.
Very diplomatic.
That I feel.
Yeah.
No, I love actors.
No
that-
Latinos. Uh-huh.
Daniela. I worked with many. Yes. What?
She's like, okay. She's like a cannoli. She's like so white on the inside.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Did you say she's a cannoli?
she's from Mexico.
She drove by once on like a Carnival cruise.
No, it's kind of she couldn't leave the country. But anyway, every shape, size,
I'm
color.
totally
everything,
teasing.
yes. No, it really is just a sense. I feel I just think about the person and the character, and then ideas come to my head, and then I think, oh my God, are they going to return my call or email? And then great people like Brendan and then Vanessa, I get so excited about it, and luckily they say yes and they want to play with me. And I really want to change the shape of LA theater, because in New York,
good luck.
We're doing it, baby. Slowly but surely. In New York, people do theater in shit holes, to quote our
Great
president.
theater, yeah.
It doesn't matter the size. It can, and anybody, anywhere, and Oscar winners, whatever, they just do it. And in LA, it's a little bit more difficult. If you have to be at the tape or something, the Geffen. And I think let's just make theater.
There's
and have
a lot
fun.
of bad theater in LA.
There's a lot of really good theater. And
I don't know about you, but bad theater's the best.
I love really
love
bad theater.
Not when you have to go see it like 4 times a week, though. Like at a, seeing Pledge is a nice surprise where you're like, God, I can finally enjoy a show I didn't pay $100.
But I think Stan makes an excellent point, which there is a lot of really great LA theater, but you don't hear about it because it is in like a 20-seat theater or a 40-seat theater.
Because LA doesn't support, the media doesn't support, so you don't get to know about it. And you've been so sweet about letting me bring actors from shows on and talking about it, coming to the shows.
I'm not a sweet person.
No, you're not. But
true story.
But it's, and I like in New York, if something is put out there, every network, doesn't matter, newspaper comes and covers it, and we need to get into that culture to reshape LA theater.
Best theater I've seen in LA has been in your living room.
I've had some.
Your read-throughs are unbelievable.
I start with just readings in my living room and see how it feels, and then we get it up and keep going. But
I have a question for Stan.
Yeah.
When I first started acting, they would always say that if you're doing a play, bring in a pamphlet and the casting director will come see it. Does that happen?
Yes.
Really? So,
well, also I have a lot of friends that are casting directors, so I ask them to come see it. And what's so great is that everyone from my shows end up getting other jobs and works and interviews.
But like in general, as a casting, when you were in casting and somebody would just drop by a flyer, how inclined were you to go?
Well, I was always hungry, so I would go to everything.
Because it's in your best interest to know what's out there.
Yes, but most people don't do that. I mean,
think it depends on who you are. Like, there's certain casting directors who really love what
theater.
they do, and they love actors, and those casting directors will go out and they love what they do. There's certain casting directors who hate what they do, and those are the ones who, like, you walk in and
you just feel it.
They want you to fail.
They'll walk. I mean, they don't look up from the page or
they're
like,
vaping.
They're not.
I've had a casting director walk out, like the associate was reading with me and the casting director was in the room and she just walked out in the middle of the scene, didn't like take a phone call or anything. She just left. And then the associate afterwards was like, that was great.
Thumbs up.
What do you say to that, literally?
I think I said, was it? I don't know that it was.
And as an actor, because I teach acting audition classes, you can't, because it could be a zillion things that you don't even know.
Absolutely.
Or they've already decided, yes, you're going to come back and read.
But you don't know. They could have saw something on their phone and their child was choking at school or something. You have no idea.
Have you ever walked out of an audition yourself?
I have never walked out of an audition.
Have you, Brendan?
Never. No, I've actually gone to every audition I've ever been sent out on except for one.
You've never said no?
I've never said no.
How about you, Patrick?
I read a sorry to interrupt. I read an interview with Allison Janney very early on when I started, and she's like, my agents, hate that I do this, but I don't say no.
Yeah.
And like, look at her now. She's going to win an Oscar.
So fabulous. She hung out with my mom, Mama Rose, by the way. They hung out together.
No.
And made my mom's
I was at a
whole
party
entire
once
night.
and I made her laugh, and then I just walked out the door. I'm done. I don't need to go any
She's so
further.
amazing.
I love her.
And I saw her on stage. I know that you're a musical fan. I saw her in 9 to 5. Yeah. Not the best musical, but to see her on stage work it. Yeah. Have you ever walked out on an audition?
Yeah, I did once. And I've said no. And you get to that point where being able to say no is such a freedom. Because we have no control. We're puppets or props, and so when you get to that point where you go, no, that's not exactly what I want to be doing.
Yeah, I've said no, but it's always based off of like, you have to come in your bikini. And it's like, yeah, you know what? I don't.
I've never gotten that request.
I always say
maybe
yes to
someday.
bikini.
Yeah,
Brandon,
yeah.
I don't know. We received many hot and bothered emails about
really?
you. Oh, yes.
They want you in
from
your
girls,
bikini.
from boys, from in-betweeners. And I guess you have a shirtless picture on Instagram?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Put it up. Let's see it.
No, I mean, I didn't
I was
pull
in
it.
Hawaii
Yeah,
recently.
But like that's how crazy your fans are, especially
how
because
you
I know
get
you've done a lot of
followers.
sci-fi, and then you guys, especially being on Gilmore Girls and Pretty Little Liars and Switched Up Earth, like your fans are cult people, and we love them for it, but they're cult people.
You have to be cult people though. For something to be successful, you have to be really passionate.
Yeah.
And especially there's so much content now that like
Yeah,
fans
that's
have to
very
be
true.
so into it. So I'm thankful. I'm like, as long as you don't murder me, like we're good, right?
I
Like,
get that question all the time from people who aren't in the industry, like friends that come into town, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we're walking around or something, and like someone's like, oh, can I grab a picture with you? And they're like, does that bother you? And I'm like, no,
No.
You
because
do take a lot of fan pictures.
because I wouldn't have a job if people
No,
didn't care.
I wouldn't have a job,
you
but
know
also
what I mean?
like I'm a fan of things, and like I've asked people to take pictures, and
Totally.
like, I would be heartbroken if someone who I admired and really enjoyed was like a huge bitch to me about it.
But it's
So-
just weird when that line is divided. We've had a lot of people from Star Trek on the show, and their fans, the line is so divided. And I know Stargate fans.
Well, Star Trek's a religion.
Well, it is.
Right.
I mean, it really, really is. I mean, I'm a huge Trekkie, but these people like
I
cannot.
thought it was Trekker.
No, that's so.
Aren't
80s.
they like the hardcore ones get really pissy when you say
A Trekkie is in the moment. A Trekker is you have done the journey. That's how ridiculous
Well,
I
are
am.
there times where you'll say no, like not right now?
No, I don't think I ever have. Honestly, I think I the only time that it gets a little bit difficult is like if someone is just being flat out rude, which you will. That this is something that blows my mind is that people will come up to you and be like, "Oh my god, I hate you on that show. Will you take a picture with?" Or like, "Oh my god, you have lost so much weight. Can I take a picture with you?" Or like, "Oh, you know what? You do not. Your voice doesn't annoy me as much in person." And you're
Yeah,
like,
I never get that.
Don't. I was on a soap opera for a little bit.
Which one?
Young and the Restless.
Young and the Restless, and they did like this fan convention thing, and it was like all the actors were there, and you kind of just sat down and were signing photos, and I would say like half of the people were like great and lovely and wonderful, and you're like, yay, thank you for watching, thank you for supporting. Again, I wouldn't have a job without you, but then you do have like several people who are like, you're growing on me. Will
just-
you
people are
sign this?
weird.
And you're like, I don't feel as inclined to sign this because of that. But at the same time, you said I am growing on you. So I guess, yeah, I mean.
Well, and-
When you went to the Gilmore Girls Fan Festival, so that's kind of when I saw her as an adult.
But the fan emails I got for her
Oh, they're
coming on,
vicious.
we got so many, and it says, well, she's responsible for breaking them up, and she ruined their relationship.
So when
and-
you got to actually meet them face to face, this was an amazing thing. We're doing the third one in Connecticut in October.
Yeah.
And so when you met the people face to face,
Everyone at the FAM festival was lovely.
Yeah, they're
But
great people.
They were wonderful
Yeah.
people. I did not meet one person at the fan festival who I did not enjoy. But I will say, being 12 years old on that show, and like, because also a lot of people are over it now. They got back together. We can all move on.
Yes.
But when it was happening in the moment, I mean, people were mean.
And it's happening again
Public?
because that show's now syndicated everywhere, too. It's on for 3 hours a day now.
Well, as it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with Gilmore Girls, I talked to Stan about this too. I was such a huge fan of Gilmore Girls, so I understood. That was
That's
the
nice to
hardest
hear.
thing. I was like, when people would be like, I hate that your character broke them up, I was like, I know, I do too. But I was left with this really difficult thing, which was, do you be the girl who breaks them up? Yes, because I want to be on Gilmore Girls. So it's like
I'd be
really
the mailman in
selfish.
Sleepy Hollow. I'd be like, I'd be reading everybody's mail.
Stars Hollow, first of all.
Oh, I thought it was Sleep. Oh, because I'm getting
Whatever.
sorry. Stars Hollow.
Jesus.
Calm down, Stan.
No, because the fans.
No, because I'm
Ichabod-
thinking of sci-fi
I was
and,
like,
and all that. I
Ichabod-
know it's Stars Hollow.
Ichabod Crane had a daughter when he was 16
It's
years
the crossover.
old.
It's the CW crossover.
It also doubles as Rosewood, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
See that we have
yeah,
that
you guys have shared
We
a lot.
have that connection.
All right, let's get the show on the road.
It isn't on the road already?
Well, I mean, now we're going to get into it. 'cause
Oh,
we're
that was
gonna
just
get
the
into it,
introduction?
Yes. I want to formally introduce our guest, Brandon Robinson. You have to say both names. You may know Brandon Robinson for wreaking havoc in Rosewood as Luke Lucas on Pretty Little Liars. He has also appeared in Weeds, Bones, and the Hulu Plus comedy Feels So Good, playing an awkward teen in the dating scene. Story of my life. Little known fact, maybe not so little known, Brandon initially auditioned for the role of Mark in Pretty Little Liars, and of course we love him as Luke. Currently he can be seen in Stan Zimmerman's Pledge at the Complex Theaters in Hollywood for a limited run. Go see it. Some hot and steamy scenes. Please welcome Brandon Robinson. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Kurt. Also, and I was very nervous to have you on the show, Vanessa, because I've been such a fan. And it's funny because your characters, you have a little bite to you it's not like, oh, God. Vanessa Marano started acting at age 7 and is most recognized for her roles in Gilmore Girls, stepdaughter to Lisa Kudrow in HBO original series The Comeback, which I loved you so much because you held your own in all of these scenes in such a strong way. My favorite episode, which I recite to all my friends that we recite to each other, is the one where you come over and you're smoking in the pool, and now I'm in jail. We say that all the time. Anyway, also in Scoundrels, playing the scheming, school-skipping daughter of Virginia Madsen, with reoccurring roles in shows including Dexter, filmed here at Sunset Gower Studios, Without a Trace, Young and the Restless. Guest starring credits include Parenthood, Medium, Ghost Whisperers, 6 Feet Under, Malcolm in the Middle, Grounded for Life. Also starred as a young girl who becomes a quadriplegic in the critically acclaimed television movie, The Brooke Ellison Story, directed by none other than Christopher Reeve. That must have been an amazing...
It's the most incredible thing I've ever done.
How old were you when that happened?
I was 11, and my character... So it's based off a true story about this woman named Brooke Ellison, who was the first quadriplegic to be accepted to Harvard University. And my character, Brooke, became a quadriplegic when she was 11 years old. And so because Chris directed the movie, it was unfortunately his last project. He passed away a few months afterwards. But I worked really intensely with him in pre-production. Like, he taught me how to use a wheelchair, and like we went to a rehab center in New Orleans, and he basically walked me through what happens when you are in that situation. So like I did the whole ambulance ride, like went into like what happens, how they turn you over, all this stuff. One of the craziest things he did was my character was supposed to have a ventilator pop off. And so he took his ventilator off and was like, this is what it looks like not to be able to breathe. Wow. He was so giving and so amazing. And I'm still really involved with the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation as a result of that, because it was such a life-changing experience. And that foundation does so many amazing things. In fact, they just launched something that's called an epidural stimulator, which if it's implanted at the edge of at the base of the spinal cord, it's given back to paraplegics, and I believe some quadriplegics. I could be wrong about that. But the ability to go to the bathroom by yourself, the ability to regulate temperature, sexual function, and being able to stand, which is insane. But they do so much research and all these amazing things. And if you ever met Chris or Dana, they were so passionate about that and such amazing people. It was like an insane experience to have at 11 years old.
Your life stories already, I feel so unaccomplished right now. And we actually have a picture of you and Christopher from set. We have seen Vanessa blossom before our eyes on Freeform Switched at Birth, and you really need to see some of her modeling work in some of these magazine spreads.
What?
Gorgeous and beautiful. 2 words, gorge. Us. Currently, she is also starring in Pledge, the play in Hollywood, sharing some steamy kissing with Brandon Robinson. Little known fact, she was born on Halloween. You guys, like I said, you need to see her Wednesday Addams pics on social media. And she speaks Italian.
Yes.
Welcome, Vanessa. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. My Italian is not as good as it should be.
Well, whose is?
My father teaches Italian.
Oh, he does?
Professionally. Oh. My Italians should be so much better than what it is. My sign language is pretty good.
Yes, it is. We have a scene with your sign language, too. Last and certainly not least, Patrick Gilmore, Canadian-born, started his film career making home movies on his dad's camera. I have since asked him to record some home movies with me, and he has said no.
I'll totally do it.
Sir, you don't know what kind of movies. Patrick is a fancy man with a degree in English literature and history from the University of Alberta, Canada, with a successful career spanning more than 70 credits to date. He is recognized for a fan favorite sci-fi Stargate universe. In fact, you appeared in all 3 of the Stargate shows. Yeah. Additional credits include, of course, AMC's The Killing, Smallville, Arrow, Supernatural, Supernatural, Fringe, Grace Point, currently starring alongside Eric McCormick in Netflix original series The Travelers, currently streaming its season 2 on Netflix, you guys. Go watch it. The series premiered, when it first premiered in the 1st December, 12 million viewers, making the first week one of Netflix top streaming shows to date. He also reoccurs as Sean in the critically acclaimed hit comedy You, Me, Her, which is available on DirecTV and AT&T's Uverse. You guys, aside from being an actor, he is a true Renaissance man with many, many talents. As a singer, he has competed in many music festivals in a variety of styles, including opera, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you giggle. Is it like fake opera or was it like...
No, but it was like 15, 20 years ago.
Oh, it's still there. Okay. The Placido can still do it, so can you. He is an avid photographer, loves to travel, and final stages of getting your pilot's license, right?
Yeah, I just need to write the exams, which that's the hardest part.
Get to it. Come on, what are you doing
I know.
here?
I know.
I want to. Oh, we should do a live. I don't know if we could live stream from up there, but from like a plane. How awesome would that be?
Totally.
That
Record
would be
the final
so
moments
fun.
of your life.
Yeah. And you guys recently, he climbed Kilimanjaro, and that is no joke. Welcome, Patrick Gilmore.
Thanks for having me. That's such fake applause.
There we go.
I
That's
got
a little
whoop.
bit. Yes.
All right. Thanks, man.
We have so many things to talk about, but I want to talk about, do you guys remember your first like real audition? And you guys started off when you were super, super young. So did you even have the nerves as a young kid? And Patrick, do you remember your first like make it or break it audition?
I don't know that I remember my first audition. I remember auditioning like as a child, but I don't remember specifically what the first one
And how'd you get
was.
into it? Did you say to your parents, I want to be an actor?
Yes. So my mother owns she owns it. It's still going. A children's theater, and so I started at the children's theater when I was like 6.
Where is this?
It was in Agora. So it is out here in the not LA.
Wait a minute. Judy Garland started off when she was a kid. She did theater in Agora, and it was like a movie theater, but they would do plays on the weekends.
Me and Judy Garland. You know?
Oh, you could play Judy Garland. Look at those features in the eyes. Stan, am I right?
Elizabeth Taylor.
Well, yes, very true. But also Judy Garland. I see some Judy
I
Garland.
will take both of those.
Well, hey, drink
Maybe
that.
a dual role.
Finish that bottle of gin, and you will be
Judy Garland.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she had this theater, and my mom had been in the industry for a bit. And when I was 6, I was like, I want to act professionally, but I also like wanted to be a fashion designer and a unicorn. And so she was like, no, that's not happening. Mostly because she was, if I remember correctly, I don't want to drive you on the 405 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, were the exact words. So no means try harder. And I just kept asking her for 2 years straight. Every single day, I was like, I want to act, I want to act, I want to act. And again, not really understanding the concept, but knowing that my mom kept saying no, which meant, oh, I should just keep going. And so she took me to an agent, and the agent I'm still currently with, who the rumor...
That is loyalty, especially in this day and age in this industry.
Yeah.
That is loyalty.
The rumor had it that she turned down children and crushed their spirit. And my mom thoroughly did research, and it was like, this woman just turns down people for no good reason. Like, she's really tough. She makes kids cry. And my mom's like, excellent.
That's like my dream job. I
Right?
can't stand kids.
Yeah, there you go. And so she was like, okay, she's going to do it. Then this will be done. Like, I've been supportive, air quotes. And she took me. She didn't help me at all. She teaches children to act. She did not help me at all with the audition. And then
She might be listening, you know.
Oh, I know. I'm still bitter about it. I will passive aggressively tell her via the radio. And so I auditioned, and then the agent was like, come inside. And my mom was like, all right, well, thank you so much for meeting with her. She's like, oh, we're taking her. And my mom went, what? And then my sister, who was 5 years old, a year younger than when I started begging to act, who was just there because it's frowned upon to leave children in the homes by themselves, literally all she did was go, oh, man, I don't have an agent. And they were like, she's like, that one's cute. I'll take her too. And my mom was like, that wasn't part of the deal. But then by that point, she said it in front of my sister. And she's like, why aren't you going to let me do it? And here we are, everybody. And she drove us on the 405 a lot.
And you guys did
3 p.m.
together, right?
We didn't do it. You know, it's funny.
I mean, you didn't do it together, but
yeah.
you both were on the show.
We were both on it. We were on Ghost Whisperer. We both did, and Dexter. We both did.
Your sister's come up a lot, and I feel out of the loop here.
She's an actress as well.
Yes.
No, I caught that.
She's like more famous than I am. So,
Austin and
Mega
Ally.
Disney
true.
Channel star.
Give her some credit.
She's on a Disney Channel show called Austin and Ally.
What's her
a
name?
little
Her
show.
name's Laura Marano.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was
Look
just
her up on Instagram.
She was,
you know.
She was just in Lady Bird. I'll give her that one.
Yeah,
Because, you know.
with Bane Gibby, by the way.
We love Bane. Yes, she was here. But you just made a movie together.
We did just make a movie together. My mom, me, and my sister produced a film, and both her and I starred in it. So
What's the name?
This summer. It's called Saving Zoe. It's based off of a book. We had the rights to the book for like 10
I read that you
years.
bought the rights,
Yeah.
so now it's...
Well, we had the rights for 10 years, and the author, Allison Knoll, was very nice to us and, like, let us have the rights for that long because, really, you're supposed to, like, pay and then up it and whatever.
Yeah.
And she just kind of was very kind and lovely and wonderful and amazing. And, yeah, it took 10 years to finally sell it and get someone to, like, be like, here's money, go make a movie. And so we did it, and... It was funny during rehearsals for Pledge because we would be like, I just came out of sound mixing and I was just like on edge because I'd been sound mixing for like 12 hours. I'm like, all right, let's rehearse. Let's go. So that's where we're at. But yeah, so here we are.
Your parents must love Christmas because they're like, what the daughter's going to get us this year.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Which is hilarious because like my mom is very like rambunctious and all these things, and my father's like very subdued and very Italian and like isn't in the entertainment industry at all, teaches, like it's a very yin and yang situation. They came to our invited dress rehearsal and
So
were ridiculous.
having made the movie, does it make you want to make more movies or make a...
Oh, it's a weird combination of like it makes you want to make so many more movies, and it also makes you want to not do it ever again. It really depends on the morning because it's so difficult. Which I knew going into it that it would be very, very difficult. But
you can't just walk away, I did my lines and I'm gone.
Yeah, and that's what's so
You're making
different.
decisions
constantly,
everything,
and it
yes.
just doesn't end.
No.
And there's so many more. And like, you know, as a performer, it's really you and the director, in television, the writer, but you guys are kind of, you know, once you're hired, you're in. That's who you have to respond to, so to speak. And then as a producer, there's so many more cooks in the kitchen that you have to deal with and so many different personalities. And I totally understand why, like, people who make film after film after film, like the Judd Apatows of the world, like just stick with the same people because, well, it takes so long to learn somebody's habits and what they like. And if you jive with someone, you just want to continue jiving.
But I do the same thing, and it's the third thing Brendan and I have done together.
He stalked me?
Yeah, I did. No, I saw him in a showcase,
I'm kidding.
and I kept his picture and said, this kid just had it. He had that it factor.
I hope he was over 18, Stan.
Yes, he was.
Stan's a fan of the young cuties. We
well,
know.
and he was in the Suicide Notes play when we did a Fringe here.
Yep.
And meet and greet, and luckily he agreed to do Pledge, and so we keep working together. Yeah, it's been really cool.
No, Brandon, tell me about like one of your the first important audition where you were like, oh, this is for real. A little sweat involved, a little nerves involved.
Yeah, I mean, I had a really similar trajectory to Vanessa's. I grew up in children's theater, also.
What?
In Oregon, right?
In Portland, Oregon. And
you made it cool because now it's so cool to live and do theater in Portland.
I know, yeah, and make TV shows. And the whole
You and
thing
Fred
up there.
Armisen.
Yeah, exactly. Like he copied me. I mean, I don't know what the hell is up with that. Seriously. Yeah, so there's actually 2 children's theaters in Portland, which for a town of that size is kind of rare. But they both have kids acting schools attached to them, and that's kind of what I did. Since I was 5.
And you were obsessed with like Peter Pan, right?
Yeah. So I was obsessed with Peter Pan. I wanted to be Peter Pan. I had the costume, the whole like shebang.
What was that? Green tights? What was it?
No, it was like
Stan, calm down. He's gonna keep this. He's gonna write this down for later.
No, like at Disneyland, they like sell like the kids' costumes.
Yeah, okay.
They like had a Peter Pan one. So like I just
Slow down.
wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take it off. So one of these
I'm gonna
children's
get so many more
theaters-
emails after this.
This is not good.
Was he wearing the tights?
The show is shut down.
So I wish we had a picture. I know you stalked
can't
my
believe
Facebook,
you don't have a picture
but,
of Peter
I do have a black and white early headshot.
Oh, you do? Okay.
You. There we go.
Oh
Look
my
at this
God.
little
Oh my
boy.
God.
You look
I
so
was-
different, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to
You look
say
elfin.
Like,
Yeah, well, there's the
Spock,
Peter Pan.
Spock
11 or
ears,
12.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
12.
Stop it.
Look
at that.
God.
I know, crazy.
Remember when headshots look like this? You guys are too young, but I mean, headshots would just look like this, and that was it.
I remember when the white boy fro was in. You
Yes.
know? Yeah, like the Adam Brody
Yes.
thing, and now
The
it's
Adam
like
Brody.
not. Yeah. So this children's theater actually did Peter Pan. When I was 5, my parents took me to see it. They saw the little brochure in the lobby, you know, for kids acting classes, and it's like that was it. And then, funny enough, full circle, that same children's theater did Peter Pan again 10 years later, and I played Peter Pan.
They probably have your picture so big in their lobby right now. They're
They
like
do.
selling like academy tuitions based on your picture.
The Northwest Children's Theater, check it out.
Yes.
It's great. It's a great organization. You know, I mean, I know a lot of people who have continued on doing this kind of thing.
Would you ever want to play Hook?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that'll be the next play we do.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. No, I'd be
He's too
down for
young
that.
to play Hook.
There can be some
Sorry.
kind of like
Why?
origin
Why
He
does
should be like a
story.
Why
sexy
does he have to
Smee.
be-
Like
yeah.
change who Smee was and make him like sexy and
Sexy
like
Smee.
Sexy Smee.
Didn't they do a prequel thing with Hugh Jackman?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
but
they
nobody
did.
pays
It was
attention
not
to that
sexy.
one.
I
That
know.
was-
Hugh
yeah.
Jackman needs to take some time off. Like him and Meryl Streep need
did
to go
take
on a
some
retreat
time
somewhere.
First
No,
of all,
Meryl Streep should not take
yeah,
any time
Meryl
off.
Streep should never
Keep
take
going.
any
Never-
time
never
off.
take
How
time.
But I
dare
think
you.
we're not paying attention to her really good work because we're just like, oh, it's another Meryl Streep movie and she's going to be fabulous. We're not
Meryl
really
Streep should run
focusing.
for office, I think.
Well, at this point,
Win-
why not?
Winfrey Streep.
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
can you imagine? Oh my,
Yeah, oh my lord.
oh my lord.
So I guess to answer the question of like the first big audition. I mean, that was the first time I was 15, and that was the first time where I'd actually like studied a script.
And you wanted it so
I
badly.
wanted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just like went in there and I was like, this is mine. Thank you very much. And I'm just kidding.
You're like, and I didn't get it.
And I didn't get it. No, fortunately I did. And that was kind of the first time where I was like, oh, maybe, you know, I want to do this professionally. So I started working at some of the, I guess, adult theaters. Not like that.
You can't say that on
in
this
Portland,
show.
adult
Yeah.
theaters.
You cannot say that in this
And
crowd.
he brought the green tights
And I
with
brought the
him.
green tights with
It's going to be on TMZ tomorrow.
right,
Patty Robinson
right.
Adult theater.
No, like union
Yeah,
theaters
yeah.
in Portland, and I started racking up like my
Adult
equity
theaters.
points as a
Doesn't
16,
matter.
17,
First
18-year-old.
interview.
Which is a whole different environment. I remember when I was not equity, but I did my first show with equity people.
Yeah.
And it was like a 2-week rehearsal, and the whole like environment was different. The whole approach to rehearsal was different, and it was like something I'd never touched before. you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, professional theater actors where they do this for a living as opposed to like, oh, I have my day job and now I'm going to go do this, you know, community theater production at night. Which is great also, but, you know, it was kind of like a different experience for me. And, you know, I was racking up the points, you know, trying to get enough points for my equity card. And I thought that I would go to New York and do the whole, you know, Broadway thing, go to NYU or whatever. And then I decided, actually, the artistic director of one of those theaters said to me, you know, because I had also been thinking about going to LA, and he said, you might as well just go try it, because in a BFA program, for the first couple of years, they're going to be teaching you what you've already been learning here, working professionally as a kid. So you might as well just go try it, see what happens. I got really lucky and got connected with an agent here in LA.
Yeah, I wish it had turned out well for you.
It's just, you know, yeah.
So what brought you to that showcase where I saw you? Like, what made you do that?
I was looking for a manager at the time, so there was a this place no longer exists, unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
It was a great. I found my first manager there also, and so I had the agent, but you know, I was just trying to like do as much as I could, be seen in front of people, and they would, you know, send out emails where it's like, come to Stan Zimmerman's, you know, workshop.
Yeah.
You know, he
See
can
who
hire
shows
you.
up for that, yeah.
Well, you were doing Rita Rocks at the time.
Okay.
And so I went.
Great
and
show, by the way.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wish it
Let's
yeah.
reboot it. Yeah,
Exactly.
Why not? Everything else is
Netflix.
There you
Yes.
go.
Netflix.
Except let's make it Latino Frida Rocks.
There we go.
Yes,
Frida
Frida
Rocks.
Kahlo.
Frida
Yes,
Kahlo.
there we go.
You
Gloria
were just
Estefan,
plugging
there you go.
yourself.
Yeah,
You just
yeah. I know, I can't help himself.
and
can
give
I?
What's
this
a single
man some
minute?
work. Throw him a bone.
You'll be getting an email from him. By the
No,
way.
I won't.
Just wait like
Ian
2
Gomez-
I'm restraining orders. What I'm
Ian
gonna be
Gomez was in the original cast, so there.
getting. Okay, all right.
All right.
So there.
There.
So
There.
So that's where I met Stan originally, and he brought me in for Rita Rocks, or a recurring part, which I did not get.
Oops. Sorry.
I told him about that. He does not remember that.
Not at all.
Yes, I auditioned for about like 18 months and I got really lucky. And my first, I did a co-star on Cold Case, like 3 lines, like right before, and then a couple weeks later, I booked Pretty Little Liars. I'd gone in to play Lucy Hale's brother, because they were doing some reshoots for the pilot episode. And they said, nah, you're kind of like the same age as her. You know, we really want someone who's more like 15. And a couple weeks later, they brought me in for this part, and it was one of those things where it's like, you know, it's just like your part. And it was originally only supposed to be 2 episodes.
Well, your role really grew, and of course, with the fans grow. The emails that I got was like, you never got the girl. Like, wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah. You never know. There's going to be a spin-off, you know? Maybe they'll invite me back, and maybe I'll get the girl, you know? Maybe. People think that I, like, killed Ashley Benson.
There's
the
so
character,
many
you know, at some point.
theories,
Which it's like, I've always been really confused by that. There's, like, a scene with us on a boat in the middle of the lake, and I'm like, you know, like, you're not listening to me. And then like she picks up a paddle and like knocks me over the head and knocks me into the lake. But people are like, why were you going to kill her? And I'm like, it was a misunderstanding. I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what?
That's what Natalie Wood said.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly.
Too soon.
She could play Natalie Wood, could she?
Yeah. Oh, Natalie Wood. Brendan, I want to take a little peek at one of the scenes from Pretty Little Liars. This is when you're confronted by all the bitches. You got to work with some pretty hot girls.
I did.
And you were like always in it. But again, you were like the best friend, the best man, never the
serious,
groom.
like friend zone status.
Yes,
Serious friend zone.
But you're like the patron saint of friend zones.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I don't get it because
that's exactly what Brendan Robinson wants to hear stamped on him.
No,
going
but I
through
mean,
his life.
like you were as cute, if not cuter, than some of the guys that actually got the girl. But we got to see your character in all of the seasons too.
Thank you. Yeah, it's funny. You know, Vanessa was saying like weird things that people say, you know, when they recognize you or something. I got pretty frequently, not to toot my own horn, you look so much better in person than you do on TV.
Why do people think that's a nice
compliment?
Thing to say?
Yeah.
It's not.
It's weird. But you know, they did purposely.
I've never heard that.
Yeah,
Patrick, you're adorable. You're just he's like a cuddly teddy bear.
He's a bear.
But I have to say, no, he's not big enough to be a bear. But Brendan, I have to say, I'm one of those fans because the first time I saw you in person was on stage for Pledge, the play at Hollywood Complex Theater. When you came out, I was like, wow, he looks as good as.
The word you're looking for is he looks even better.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I've had the opposite where I meet them, I'm like, what happened?
That
but I was so,
though.
like, as a fangirl of Pretty Little Liars, I was like, I mean, which took me out of the play for a moment, but then I was back into it. And then Vanessa comes on stage, so I was back out of it, and then I was back into it.
Were you the one that was whooping when Vanessa came out?
No, it was somebody in the back.
Whoop, whoop. You've had that a couple.
Sister.
You have? No, there was like
but she's had a couple nights. You've had like a whooping. People whoop for you.
There a
lot of boys have whooped for Vanessa Marano.
But also, it's like the people that like I've invited.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's like not as impressive as it should.
Shut up,
be.
Mom.
when we do it on the Broadway, you know, there will.
But they're going to make it a musical. Broadway.
The show will stop.
Pledge
when
the
you
musical.
enter.
There
You
you
know,
go.
it will.
Well,
It
that's
will.
right, because we'll have all of the Maranos from the Bronx in the front row. So
Exactly.
they're loud.
Let's take a peek at the confrontation scene where Mr. Brendan Robinson, Lucas, is confronted by our team of sexy gals. And we're going to keep your microphone on, so if you want to...
Oh, great.
You want to, like, DVD extra.
Looking.
Is that a hoodie?
Can you imagine that
It's a
prop
hoodie.
person? The prop person, though, had to put all this crap all over the place.
Right. I
Yeah.
think we did like at least 7 takes of this.
What
Are you
looking
kidding?
for? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a comic book.
He's looking for a girl that will say yes.
That's true.
Now,
Oh, and I have
fans
the-
were shitting themselves at this point, by the way.
Did it feel good to scare us? Did it make you feel powerful?
What?
You smeared blood on a crib.
You smeared blood on a crib?
I smeared blood on the crib.
Maybe he didn't.
Are you crazy?
Because she did.
Then why is he here?
What?
Lucas, at least tell me why. I saw the police tape. I know you took it back.
She's kept me in the friend zone for years and years and years and years.
It didn't work the first time, so now you're sending body parts.
What the hell is she talking about?
And does that drive you to kill?
It does,
Yeah.
actually. All of them. No, I'm kidding. If you notice the facial hair on Freeform, if you have facial hair, that means that you are
evil.
An evil, sketchy person.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're clean shaven. I don't know if that was a thing on your show, but they made all the guys who had to take their shirt off, you had to wax. There was like a no body hair policy.
No bears.
I did that on my shows too.
I want to say that no one had to wax; they just all came in wax.
It's like the Hallmark
Pre-wax.
Network. Anything to do with the Hallmark Network. If you have any sort of facial hair,
No
Really?
facial hair
You're evil.
and no sexuality if you're a homosexual.
people
on
of
a
color.
Hallmark channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Brendan, like the script,
Details about how you made my life a living.
you guys go from like natural conversation to some pretty elevated. It's.
So that's why you stole back.
It has a lot of elements of like a soap opera, but you guys make it real.
Yeah.
Along with this.
It was interesting. I mean, we had a variety of different writers on that show. I mean, obviously, we had a staff of 7 people.
Meet me at the restaurant.
And
Nobody showed up.
they all had their very their own like distinct voice. And so, you know, as a cast, you know, as the years went on, we could totally tell without even looking at who wrote it, like whose episode that was.
And one of the writers was someone I went to high school with.
Yeah, and that's how we
Small
reconnected.
world.
Was you were looking
Through
for
all
someone
of
to
our-
do meet and greet, your
Yeah.
first play that we did together.
The book ends.
And you called up Oliver,
yeah.
and it
That
was like, well, how about
music is
Brendan?
telling
Yeah,
you
and
what
you
to
guys-
feel right now.
And
It
like
is.
you just have to watch Brandon your moments holding your own against all these girls.
Oh, thank you.
There we
I
go.
mean, that
Yes.
is
Thank
a
you.
lot of feminine power to go up against.
It
it
is, yeah, no, incredibly intimidating. You know, it's,
At least
I
you got your
wouldn't-
own bathroom on set.
Yeah, totally, exactly. No, never mind. I won't go there.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well,
Brendan-
no. We had this really funny second, and there was someone else who I was sharing like a. They call them double bangers. the trailers.
But that's what. Okay,
It's a Friday night for me,
I
sweetie.
just had this conversation with my sister actually because she had no idea that that's what it was called, and I was like, "Yeah, they're called a triple banger or a double banger or a single like what?" And she was floored.
Well, she probably had a room.
Yeah,
right?
she had
'Cause
a
on those-
dressing room.
Yeah, on the sound stage. See, like how sound stages where they have audiences, they're usually like built-in dressing rooms.
yeah.
But you know, if it's a non-audience
She
stage,
worked on non-audience shows.
what is a
like-
triple banger?
What do you call the smallest one? Because in Canada we call it the honey wag.
Honey, yeah, we call it.
Oh,
Honey
okay,
Wag.
It's called your
Honey
car.
It's a banger.
Right?
It's just a
Just
banger.
banger. No, it's called the honey.
So you have to share a
wagon.
bathroom with somebody?
No. So they each had their own bathroom, and the guy who I was sharing like the double banger with.
Also, by the way,
Also, my emails again are gonna take off.
also, Pretty Little Liars got double bangers. Switched at Birth got triple bangers. we were less on the totem.
No,
pole.
well, you know, I mean, it's like,
You're like, it's hard. It's hard
I
to
have
be the
no
most popular
comment.
show on.
I have no
Freeform.
comment about that.
Have you guys ever compared like who had the best craft services? Like which show on Freeform?
I'm sure you guys did.
We had.
Because you guys had that WB money too.
Well, no. See, here's the thing about working the WB lot is they built this brand new. I mean, a couple of years ago, beautiful commissary building, and it's actually it's good. There's good food there, but if you're working on the
Guys, don't
WB
eat. Don't-
lot,
don't
Warner
lie.
Brothers?
if you're working at Warner Brothers on the WB lot, they do not let you do a company lunch.
Yeah, you walk.
You
have to
walk
yeah.
because they want you to walk over to the commissary and spend money at the commissary. You didn't hear that from me, even though this is like on the air. But so they would give us
Gilmore.
they would give us
We did on
money to
Gilmore,
go
and
do
without
that.
a trace,
but-
we did that. Yeah, whenever I worked on the WB, it was you had to walk.
I would say like the best craft services I've ever had was actually on Weeds. Phenomenal.
Because they're
craft
the other
They're
services.
stoned. Yeah.
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 Laura's show, Austin and Ally, actually had excellent craft service.
Really?
Yeah, like
Which it makes me laugh because actors don't eat. So I mean, it's
Well,
it's murder.
It just smells
she,
great.
She took that into consideration, the woman who was running, and like it was just a very like healthy craft service. But like she kind of cooked things and made these smoothies, and like it was very LA. It felt, and it was like, oh, on the Disney Channel, all right.
They would always do an after lunch dessert, like
See,
a whole table of desserts, and surprisingly,
that should be for the end of the day.
no, like every single day. Yeah. And surprisingly, on Pretty Little Liars, gone. It was gone within like an hour.
Well,
And then thrown up. And
No,
double
no,
bang.
It's a double finger.
No, it's funny. I think everyone had like a real sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're
Women
working
tend
long
to.
hours, the
You know.
fastest thing to get you
sugar
going.
high.
Oh, I have a
is
huge
sugar.
sweet tooth.
We had one of our cameramen, I believe, still owns a restaurant called Harvest Moon in North Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
eaten there.
So that was our camera guy, Rick, who owns it. And so we would get Harvest Moon all the time because we got a deal from Rick, which was awesome. So, like, ours was, like, it was, like, the bacon. That was, like, they have, like, this sweet, like, crack bacon situation. And, like, that was always gone.
Their breakfast is very good.
Yeah.
We would get really nice meals at table reads.
Oh.
They would like go to Aroma Cafe and like just like
William Shatner's at Aroma Cafe every single morning in North Hollywood. Just don't go say hello to him and don't say live long and prosper.
Oh.
Little
all
side
right.
note.
Noted.
Have you done that?
Yes.
And what happened?
He's not a friendly man.
I've seen many people there.
Yes, it's a big celebrity hangout, but like it's the unknown rule that like let them eat their breakfast and whatever. Like Aroma Cafe is like hands off to like talk to fans.
Have you ever had like a weird celebrity encounter? Not a weird celebrity encounter.
I'm guessing
but-
you've had a lot. If you're following celebrities home all the time.
Well, because I get very excited. I told Jane Lynch I was the valet once, and I was not the valet. But I told her before she gave me the keys. Whatever. I love entertainment so much. I can't get enough of it, and so I want to just like talk to people and meet people.
I was at Sugarfish, which is people who are not in LA or don't know what that is. It's like excellent.
Yes.
It is excellent.
Great sushi. And I was having lunch with a friend, and this was like a couple of weeks ago, and this like giant, just gorgeous Amazon woman, like in my peripheral vision, comes and sits down next to us with a small child, and they start dining on sushi. And I look over, and it's Charlize Theron and her 5-year-old, and the 5-year-old is like, having like a full spread of like.
That happens a lot at Sugarfish, though. Johnny Depp is there a lot. Of course, he's working in the kitchen now, but a lot of people do that.
I was at Studio 54 and Andy Warhol. Anyway, your
No,
story.
were you? Are you serious? You were at Studio 54?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Okay.
don't. Patrick,
You don't want to.
You don't even know.
We'll get
That's
into-
a whole movie.
yeah, it's a whole
That's
thing.
chapter.
No.
I
can't just blow past that.
I told him to stop taking pictures of me because I thought he was taking my soul away in each picture.
That's
God,
how high
Stan.
he was.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Andy Warhol's having a resurgence, though, with American Horror Story and with a lot of other things, which I'm glad because I think our up-and-coming Hollywood generation should really
Know who he was.
because he
well,
was
he
the
created
young.
the whole 15-minute thing. That
Yep,
look,
that's
we're living it.
We are
How
living it.
crazy
Vanderpump
is that?
Rules.
There you go.
Vanderpump
And who's
Rules.
your crazy?
Well, I one time met my queen, Helen Mirren,
Oh my god.
at the the John Carter premiere. Why Helen Mirren
My
was
God.
at John
It must have been a
Carter
slow
premiere.
night for Helen
was,
Mirren.
was Taylor Hackford involved?
He was not there. Taylor Hackford was not there.
Okay.
She's a huge
I'm looking.
Friday Night Lights fan, maybe.
Who knows? I was there because it was Disney, and so ABC Family would
Yeah.
take you to those things. Where I saw her, I had a panic attack. Went up to her, and I don't even remember this moment, but I'm sure it was like, I love you. The picture that she graciously took with me is me literally with my mouth open and crazy eyes going like, and she is like standing over here, very prim and proper.
Like a beauty.
Nervous.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's going to murder me. She's going to
But it's so hard, especially in our industry, because we never know who we're going to bump into at a reading or at a premiere. And it's like, how do we tell an icon everything that we've loved about them for years in a sentence or two sentences that number one impresses them enough to talk to us?
You don't.
Number two,
You just
that-
act
that's
super
just
cool
it.
and be like,
No.
Yeah, you're like,
But don't you want to hear? Like, I once went up to Jodie Foster at the gym, and she did not want to talk to anybody, even though we had.
that's
even though we had the
life.
same.
That's in our own relationships.
We had the same trainer, and I worked out after her. But it's like
Trainer? Jim? Jodie Foster? You?
Yeah. Anyway, so
Is this a Mad Libs?
true story.
Mad Libs.
Because I had just seen Little Man Tate, and it so moved me, and I was shocked that she didn't like want to hear like that.
But it,
She's a
This
very
seems to be like a
automatically-
recurring thing for
She's
you.
in the
Stan.
Starbucks in West Hollywood. She's in there all the time. You do not talk to her.
It's an automatically unbalanced relationship between fan and celebrity because with the fans, you have spent hours with this person. You know their voice. You know every inflection they make, and they've never have even thought of you.
But
so when you meet this person,
don't you want to hear from people that they were touched or moved, or I want to interact?
But I think that a lot of people tend to make the same comments. When Joanna Cassidy was here, all the questions were about Blade Runner, about her death scene, and she was like, okay, but she put a lot of effort into the character leading up to that and other stuff. So when the fans are asking the same question over and over, it's like, well, their focus was on something else that we're not focusing on.
But you'd have no
Thank God
control
they're-
over that. I mean, I think what we were just talking about earlier is like, at the end of the day, it's like you don't have a job if no one's watching your work. And,
At least they're talking.
Well, I'm surprised that you younger guys have that energy
But I
because a
think
lot
it's
of the
different with the
younger.
younger guys because you're so connected with social media. I
Yeah,
think the
that's
older
changed the
actors.
landscape.
Yes and no, though.
they
And
don't-
this was the comment I was going to make. I have a lot of young people that have huge Instagram followers, and they come in, they're in their own bubble. They don't know anything of Hollywood history. They don't know anything about acting style, acting school. They're like, they live in a bubble where they're famous for their show. And that's it. They don't really understand the scope of things.
Well, there's
you're a cinephile. I mean, you go back into old Hollywood, right? Tell me, doesn't it piss you off when someone says, and this happened to me a couple weeks ago, I referenced Bob Hope. Who?
what?
And it's
because
like, Jesus
you
Christ.
waved at Bob Hope, right?
The airport.
Oh my God, you did your research.
Oh, I do my research, girl. You
Yeah.
waved at Bob Hope.
No, but the idea is that you've heard of Hitler. Pick up a goddamn book. I'm sorry, am I allowed to swear in this?
You're not
Yes.
allowed to say Hitler.
I know, you just said Hitler, so.
Mulholland whiskey.
Their new commercial.
That pisses me off. It's complete disconnect. It's just like, oh well, that was before I was born. It doesn't matter.
They set the foundation. Like Carol Burnett had her how many anniversary year of her show? She paved the way for female comedians.
Oh, yes, she did. Yes, she
Yeah.
did.
Who's Carol Burnett?
Everyone.
No.
And then
kidding.
everyone
No,
punched
I'm
Brendan
kidding.
in the
I'm
face.
kidding.
of course
kidding.
she's kidding. But I went on a date the other day, and the person
Wait,
did not
let's
know.
stop there.
Yeah, I know, right? Did not know who Judy Garland was.
What?
And I don't mean
Okay.
it like Judy Garland, but I want to talk about like the tragedy of what Hollywood would put these actresses through, and that's how you made it famous. Not that, oh, we're talking about craft services. No, we're talking about your life. Like you didn't have one.
No, you didn't. And especially, I mean, Judy Garland's story is tragic on so many. Like, they used to do something to her nose. Like, they put, like, pinchers in her nose to
Yes.
make her. Like,
Yes,
she was
yes,
just
yes.
torn apart physically, like, for what she was.
And mentally.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I just recently on a plane watched Meet Me in St. Louis for the first time.
So
Oh
good.
yeah.
There's a lot happening in that
There
movie.
is a lot happening. That movie's a little bit, well, and you know, Vincent Minnelli as director. That was
I
a lot
know. Liza.
there. Yes.
But, like, the little...
That's my Liza impression.
But
It's
that was
quite funny.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Was that what that was?
Yeah.
But like, I
just
didn't,
so happy.
I didn't realize she had like this really like precocious little sister in that movie who's obsessed with
Oh my
death,
God, you remind me of her.
which makes sense because I said after watching it, I was like, that is either a precocious
Totally.
child or a 40-year-old woman. It's
Yeah.
one of the two things.
Yeah.
But like, she had like this line about like, I bury all my dolls in the backyard.
Yes. Yes.
Why did they talk like that in all the old movies?
That's
Yeah.
because Judy Garland had like an accent, but it was
Yeah.
there and it
It
was,
was
not
called
there.
what was it called? Like
It was a
Transatlantic. Yeah.
Patrick,
yeah.
we got a lot of emails from actors because we have a lot of actors that listen to the show, learning, and I'm glad to know that showcases work and flyers.
Unfortunately,
still
showcases
work.
are no longer allowed in LA, but that's a whole other
Well,
show.
is that right?
Yes and no.
Very not what they used to be, but go on.
They used to have pre-screens when I started, and I don't know if that exists anymore, where you would come in and the cast director would sit and just have a little chit-chat with you, maybe give you some sides.
in a hotel room in a robe. No, I'm sorry.
Not no mo.
Okay.
Patrick, but
Too
the question we
soon,
got from
Stan.
actors is, you know, you've done a lot of sci-fi, and you've done a lot of like outside reality type shows. Did you have to change your acting approach to fit those genres?
Well, that's funny. This wasn't canned at all, but it's funny when you talk about these pre-screens because when I moved to Vancouver I'm from a city called Edmonton, and I had a pre-screen with a director, and she was the casting director for the original Stargate TV show with Richard Dean Anderson and
Such a great show. Great movie, by the way.
the movie. A big fan of the movie, but I remember going in and reading the sides with her, and I would read it just like I was talking to you, and having seen an episode or two. Of course, you're reading for, Village One from Planet X or something like this.
Yeah.
And everyone spoke like this. You have come down from the sun to help us. And I was like, do I have to speak in that articulated manner, and they said, "Oh yeah, no, the naturalistic stuff we leave that for Richard. That's his shtick."
That is
And so
that's
they
good
made us
behind the
all
scenes.
speak in this like as if we were, super educated and very strict and stick up our ass, and Richard E. Nasty would come in and just be the casual speaker. So that was my only. I didn't end up having to audition for her because I just couldn't do it. But no, I've never had to speak in that because I've never done the rubber mask sci-fi it's kind of outdated now, isn't it?
Well, the big joke is that every sci-fi bad or villain or whatever, they're all English speaking because they always have a British accent.
Well, it was like that when they were doing Nazi movies, right? I mean, all the Nazis were English speakers.
I remember auditioning for Battlestar Galactica, and I remember the casting director was like, "So it's like you're saying Shakespeare. Just think of it like with that mentality of like it's a different language."
For Battlestar?
Yeah, for Battlestar. Because there was all these crazy
That's
like
good
whatever.
sci-fi behind the scenes because it does have a certain theme. So how does that play with your approach then as an actor when you're like given so much? What school of acting do you subscribe to?
Why are you looking at me? I don't know if I subscribe to a school. I've never taken an acting class. I started in theater, but it was
For shame.
I know, and it's got that point now
Now
where
a good children's theater.
Children's theater. He's like, I started a
Children's theater,
Great children's
like
theater.
Waiting for
Or,
Guffman needs a spin-off movie about children's
Absolutely.
theater because I did
I
children's
just
theater
sold it
as
to
well.
HBO. Be quiet.
Yeah.
Wait, are you serious? Do you want to work on that together?
Done. Done and
Do you
done.
want to work on that
Yeah,
together?
we're all working
Yeah.
on it together.
I'm
It's
Great.
great.
sitting right here, Brandon Robinson.
but in children's
What,
theater,
do you want to work on it too?
Yes.
Perfect.
in children's theater. So children's theater.
Oh, yes.
Children's theater. I was in Into
Everyone's
the
been in
Woods when I was
children's-
way too young to be in Into
Do
the
you
Woods.
get into acting technique in that, or is it just like how to behave on stage?
Actually,
You do.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
And so, and what do they push on you?
I mean, it's not like a specific technique, but the way that the one that I don't know about you guys, but like the way that ours worked was they would choose shows for their season that had a bunch of kids roles. So the kids would play the kids, and they would bring adult actors in to play the adults. So it was a professional experience. You're not having like a 15-year-old playing I don't know some.
Peter Pan?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it was run like a professional thing.
Well, my mother, what she would do, because she was an actress, so she had taken a lot of acting classes. But like every once in a while, like we would do the play, but she would also do a section of the class where she taught improv, just because that's something. Oh my God, if you can reward kids with improv, they will do anything that you say. It's the most amazing thing I've ever experienced, because they'll be like, "Let's do improv," and you're like, "Okay, but you just need to be quiet for like 15 minutes." But she would also like bring in like some techniques that she had learned from Meisner just to teach it. I personally don't like Meisner.
I don't either.
But it's beneficial to like know like that, and like there's another British one like Alexander technique, like all that stuff. It's just you don't have to subscribe to it, but I think
If it works for you.
well, yeah, if it works for you, but also I think just general knowledge of that, it kind of you can create your own thing.
When I was young, taking acting classes, luckily early on they taught me just
Did
go
John
to
Barrymore teach you?
No, just go to a mall and watch people.
Yes.
And
That was
they're really
shade.
You laugh,
right?
but I'm still on the Studio 54 thing.
But
going,
they're really
you must have been 12.
But that really changed me as a writer.
Do you know
to
the
go-
cast of Annie? The little girls from Annie would go hang out at Studio 54 after the Broadway show.
Like
This
the
is
original-
the
the right-
original 1970
Yeah, they were-
with Dorothy
Loudon, yes,
They
yes.
would go to Studio 54, and nobody
They
batted an
they
eye.
allowed some crazy things,
Yeah.
yeah. But to just go and watch people at a mall, because it really takes you out as an observer to look at people. And then I became a writer, so my writing partner and I we go out and we watch people and do what they're thinking, what they're saying.
See,
in
before I
voices.
was an actor, I
Yeah.
would do the exact same thing. I would sit in a food court and I'd watch someone. I'd say to myself, "He's the best actor in the world. Why? What makes him so believable?" I don't know if that's what you're talking about. And
Yes,
you
it's
just
to
people watching,
observe
you
and listen
study
to
their-
people. Yes,
Yeah.
And
some-
Stan, I think that's what comes across in your writing because I know you. You're so different from the characters that you write, and you fleshed out these larger than life characters that are not you at all. And how would you understand that or begin to capture like a snapshot of that? And that's probably
because you listen and you watch and you observe and you take it all in. Yeah.
all right.
Oh boy.
Patrick,
boy.
I want to take a look.
Like, at least that's what we do with the puppetry.
Yes.
Yes. I got to hear more about this puppetry.
I know this is radio, but you're sharply dressed tonight.
Oh, well, we're
Is that
streaming
where-
video, Patrick.
Yeah.
Patrick's like, what?
No,
He's like, oh, what?
What did
should
I
have
wear?
showered
That
for this?
t-shirt? Yeah.
Patrick, I want to take us a look at a scene from Travelers, which I have to admit I did not see it until
That's
I got the email.
That's okay.
From Icon PR, and then
Don't
I'm
get emotional.
obsessed. No, it's my flu. Concept of the show is unbelievable. You guys are a true ensemble show, which I love. Let's take a peek at a scene, and we're gonna leave your microphone on too, so you can kind of
Okay, let's.
look how serious he is.
I don't see how this is.
This is part of the desensitization
Okay, so
process.
just for context,
Give me your hands.
I'm suffering from PTSD after the events of the first season.
Press pause, Kurt. Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
Lead us into the.
well, it's just she's doing what's called EMDR, and if you've ever suffered from anxiety or something, this is something that triggers left brain, right brain. Mackenzie Porter is my my partner in crime there.
Force his way in.
And then here's a little trivia. There's a scene coming up where I get kicked in the ribs. Coming up in 3, 2, 1. Oh, maybe, yeah, right there.
He really hit you, didn't
He really hit me.
I hate to hear that.
And I don't mean to throw our stunt guys under the bus, but because part of it was I was too macho too. I'm like, are you okay? Yeah. He made contact during the rehearsal.
here. Hey.
It'll be fine. He kicked me in the ribs 6 times and I ended up with bruised ribs, and I couldn't sneeze or cough for like a month. Did you ever have bruised
Jesus.
ribs?
No.
Jesus.
Whenever it goes to
And you
black
can't sing. Well, you know about singing. You can't sing if you have a bruised rib.
I couldn't sneeze.
Whenever it goes to black and white, you know it's something bad's gonna happen, right?
something
Yeah,
real
something
bad.
Is this
bad.
is this a time traveling show?
Yeah.
Yes. So, Patrick, please tell our listeners who have not seen, because the concept is so like, oh, what? Tell our listeners.
It's like
it's fascinating.
quantum leap, but you don't keep leaping. So time travelers from 400 years from now have entered the consciousness of people. Look at your face. This is wonderful.
It's
I
great.
think I went in for this. I'm curious.
Okay, yeah. So
yeah.
they're able to travel into the bodies of people living in our time, and they take over their lives. So I guess that's where the twist is that the show is as much sci-fi as it is relationships, because they have to take over the lives of everybody.
Oh wow.
And
you guys, it's so good.
it's fun. Yeah, and I think that because when we came out 2 years ago, I guess it was, a year and a half ago, there was like 6 or 7
time
travel shows,
things.
and they all just kind of petered away, but we kind of stuck around.
Well, I think
So-
because
2015 hot time travel pilot season.
Time travel, oh, that's
But
so
the show is
2015.
also entrenched in reality. It's not
Yeah.
so far out there, and the concept makes sense. Eric McCormick is in it. I keep expecting Jack to come out, but Eric McCormick is
Yeah.
so not Eric McCormick.
Right, and
in
what's
the show.
cool is that
It's
when
so
when the
weird.
Will and Grace came back, you could watch Travelers and then tune into the next Will and Grace, and to see that contrast just shows how
He's
talented
amazing.
that guy is.
I did a show with him.
He
for a
sings,
little
too.
bit. He's
Oh.
so fantastic.
He sings. Whenever you go to your house, you have to do karaoke, and it's
What's his address?
it's yeah. You
I'm a stalker.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you want
Brandon, do you want some
No.
more?
Do you want more, Stan?
No, thank you.
Have a little bit more.
I've been hogging the whiskey
So
here. If
good.
anyone would like any.
So, Patrick,
more.
Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
How did you come across that opportunity? How long did it take?
I like you mentioned, I have a degree in English literature, so I was a big Hemingway fan, and a lot of his stuff took place in Africa, and of course, the famous story "Snows of Kilimanjaro." And so that's always been a bucket list thing, and it's just in the back of my head, and I've never actually thought I'd be able to do it. And then when we got picked up for a second season, literally, I walked into a travel agency and just said, "How do I do it?" And I was on a plane 2 weeks later with zero.
But you have to be
training.
you have to say you have to people die on this mountain.
Yeah, luckily, in the second episode of season 2, I had to be shirtless, so I had got a trainer.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I know.
So I had...
Casey knows me well. She's like, here's the shirtless pig. Can he be on the show?
yeah.
Yes.
Can he be on the
Yes.
show?
Yes.
That's the payola to get on this
Yes.
show. So I had been going to a trainer, so I inadvertently had been training, but I'm not a hiker. Hiking bores me.
I hate the outdoors.
Right?
It's so overrated.
I completely agree with you.
I think it's funny that that's like what happes when people are asked to do, nude scenes or scenes where they're like not clothed. It's
Yeah.
like immediately you're like,
Sheer
how much time do I have? And like,
I'm gonna
you know,
do
I need to
Kilimanjaro,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because bodies that we see on film and TV are just not naturally occurring in reality.
No.
No, they're not.
That's
No, I'm
what's
not
happening.
meant to be shirtless. I walked into a trainer or a gym and I threw my visa down. I said, "Make it happen."
I will say, as soon as I discovered that there is a makeup artist who will do body makeup on you, it was like, oh, this does not need to be as hard as I've been making it. Because
But Vanessa, I have
And
to
that
say,
started your
seeing
nudity phase.
Pledge the play when you came out, you had these like tight like spandex pants. I was like,
Yes.
even me as a gay man, I was like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
you go, bro. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you know. But again, when those pants are off and you're in a bikini, you need someone who is shadowing things in a certain way. And you're like, oh, look, I don't have to go to yoga as much as I have.
And if we were
wanted to
just
go to
natural
yoga.
on camera, then the rest of society would just calm down with like body issues and all that.
Yeah, it really, we're all part of the problem.
But do you ever
Yeah.
worry you're on vacation and someone will take a picture and post?
No. Again, I think we've had this conversation, which is like when your awkward teen years were on one of the more popular shows that ever hit America, you kind of get over any like vanity of what you or like. There's just no like. There are pictures available of me just going through the worst of my adolescence.
What's funny, Vanessa and Brendan, as you've been cute since day one, I'm not going to say that, but you guys went through certain stages on film, and then look
Yeah.
where you guys are now. I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
We did it, Brendan. We did it.
Did it?
Made it to
You
the
did
other
it.
end.
Well, you
Yeah.
even more so, you know.
I mean, because I was so young. So I mean, it's like I said, there are so many pictures available of me looking every which way that like I just don't care anymore. Like I will, like the one thing I'll do is like, all right, I should probably put lipstick on, and then let's take a picture. And they're like, do you want to see the picture? I'm like, not really.
Because a lot of shows, I'll say, they'll like ask for photo approval. And she's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
Whatever.
fine.
Yeah, I'm like, well, that saves my life, like hours on end.
All right, Patrick, how long was Kilimanjaro? Was it?
It was 5 days up, 2 days down. So we were
That's
hiking
pretty
for
quick.
for
It's
about
gotten
10
quicker.
Well, it's all the acclimatization because you're going at altitude, which I never thought was anything. But I always tell this story. When I would roll over in my sleep, I'd be up for another 2 minutes trying to bring my heart rate down and catch my breath.
Interesting.
Like that's how painful it was. But I mean, it wasn't a technical climb. There was one part where we were scaling a mountain and we witnessed a woman fall, which was horrifying. It's no joke. I guess like 11 people die in Kilimanjaro a year, which I found out when I arrived.
I thought it was more
Like,
than
hey,
that, actually.
Is that right? Could
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, I thought
maybe
it was more.
somebody was, softening the blow for me.
Was it fun?
It was, but it's one of those things where like university.
It's life-changing.
Yeah, it's life changing. It's excruciating, but it's moments like now where you go, shit, I did that.
Were
that's
your
insane.
producers freaking out?
That's my next question. Is like,
Did they know?
your
There
agent
was,
is like, no, you're not going to do that.
Yeah, there was a few hoops to jump through, but one of our cast members, Jared Abrahamson, is a MMA fighter. So I felt like he was in the Bronx at the time training, so he was getting his face kicked in. I thought, what's the worst that can happen?
Which is
on a
just
mountain?
being in the Bronx.
Right. Yeah. And he was
It's
also
buying
training.
Pinot Grigio in a neighborhood. You should not be buying Pinot Grigio.
No, but there was we had to get a few okays, which was new for me because I'm like, it's never been a big deal.
And I have to say, you have to check out Patrick's Instagram. It's so full of so many great things.
Oh, I'm glad you say that because I'm terrible at it. I feel I'm terrible.
You
at
are
it.
kind of bad.
Thank you.
Didn't share this poster, but
There's an art to the
posted this.
Instagram.
yes. Well, I did 2 posts, but okay.
Oh, did you?
Yes, it's fun.
Oh, I'm sorry, bud.
Vanessa, I want to take a peek at Switched at Birth. We got a lot of response in that you had to represent the ASL community as well. And to talk about the ASL, let's take a peek at this scene, which of course broke everybody's hearts, and you can kind of walk us through. But talk about having to layer this on your usual acting.
And I'll get to say,
Goodbye, Emma.
This is our last scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sad.
he was my first love.
Fans were so sad.
I know, they were upset. There was a lot. But it was a very oh wow, there's a whole
Yeah.
montage. There's all the montage.
We literally saw you grow up
Yes.
on camera.
Well, I mean, I turned 18 right before I shot the pilot for this. So It was a crazy experience because, I mean, we went for a while, thankfully, which is amazing.
But you even said during an interview that you thought, yes, it's okay that I'm not with Emmett.
I think so. I think it's real because they were so young and so much had happened in their lives that they weren't able to kind of keep. I think anytime with first love, any love actually, it's a journey. And it's never a lost relationship. If you have fallen in love with somebody, you've learned something and you've experienced something.
I'm best friends with my ex of 8.5 years.
Can you name your first love?
I can name my first love, but I'm not going to.
Oh, come on.
I'll tell you why. Because he did not love me back. No, it's very
You guys,
sad.
look. Emmett's going off. Oh, my God. Years in the making.
Did you watch this show, Alexander?
Hello. Do you know
Well, no,
me?
because
Of course.
I mean, you have so many people on, and you have to.
I
kinda
watch
keep up.
TV
You must.
until 4 a.m. every
Yeah.
day. I'm not kidding.
Love
What
that.
are your favorites at the moment? Are you
right
allowed to
now,
say?
Smilf on
Oh,
Showtime.
nice.
So good. Deuce.
Yeah,
People say, James Franco, he's a silly man.
But
Deuce
Maggie.
is such.
Maggie.
I've never liked Maggie Gyllenhaal
What?
until this show. She is spectacular in the
she's
show.
adorable.
But
Yeah.
this show is not a Maggie piece. It's not a James Franco piece. It's a true ensemble piece. Every actor and actress there just blows my mind. Deuce is, but
See,
it's
I would
so
watch
graphic,
it because
though.
it's of the era and the New York-ness.
And it captures that, but it's so graphic, which I think a lot of people are like, they get turned off, and I was turned off. I'm a prude, believe it or not. I'm a
What?
prude, and it was so graphic. I was like, I gave it 2 episodes, and then by the end of the second episode, I was like, wow. And and American Gods. Who's seen American Gods?
I actually
I
haven't
saw
seen
the first
American
season.
Gods.
Yeah,
It's so weird and it doesn't make sense, but watch it.
but watch Ian McShane just for anything. Oh my
Anything.
god!
And the Leprechaun, he was in Orange is the New Black. He's so sexy.
Apparently, Gillian Anderson isn't coming back as whatever character she played.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
She just got an Emmy nomination for it.
I know, but I heard that she's like
She's
"Nah."
so good in it.
Yeah.
It was a weird show,
Interesting.
but it was so. All right. Sorry. No,
Dead air.
No.
There's a lot of thought going into American Gods.
So we're gonna do rapid fire with everybody.
Oh.
But real fast, the questions I got from you two is that you had to deal with a character for so many years. How do you keep it fresh? And we know script-wise, Lucas went through some changes. But how do you keep it fresh with the same character? And you're like, okay, making a paycheck, but still, like, your acting chops are like, I want this, I want that.
I don't know. I like you do go through that. You go through I want to do something different, but there's something. It's such a gift to play a character for a very long period of time because your performance, I think, becomes very true. You know the character so well. With anything that you start, you're kind of finding things, and sometimes you don't find a character until very later on. And if you're in a character for a super long time, you know them and. In a weird way, it's easier, but also kind of therapeutic in a way.
Does the character become you, or do you become the character?
I think the character becomes you a little bit. I think a lot. Anytime, the reason why you hire, and I think you were talking about this with, I look for somebody who's right for the part, is you can be the most amazing actor in the entire world, but if you do not have that thing that character needs, it's not going to work. Unless you're Meryl Streep, because she can do anything, but she's the only one.
Except Mamma Mia.
I'm sorry. She was fantastic in Mamma Mia.
Oh my gosh.
Are we going to have this moment?
Yes, I think we are.
Are we going to have... look, Mamma Mia wasn't great. I'm not going to say that, but I could watch Meryl Streep do anything.
But there's also when you're on a show, you become a family, and as a writer, then when you have great actors like these two,
Yeah, you write a little
three,
bit more.
you start writing towards them, and you get to
Yeah.
know them, and that's what's so exciting about being on a show. And so it doesn't get.
And the thing is, too, is if you're lucky enough that you get on a show where you like the people you're working with.
I've
Vanessa,
never had that. Yeah.
I have a quote for you. Vanessa, everyone loves each other for the pilot, but once you start to do the show, you see everybody's true colors.
It's true.
If it's successful, people start to change. And then if it's not doing well, people start to change in other ways.
It's true. I've done a lot of TV.
And I love that that's such an honest quote because, people think on a show that it's all glossy, that we should all get along, but that's not what happens.
Oh, it's not always the case at all.
Do you have a story, Patrick? I saw you flare up.
No, this is rapid fire?
Yeah.
No, we haven't gotten to the rapid fire.
Oh, okay, let's get to the rapid fire.
But we were talking about like how you keep the character fresh.
I mean, and again, I think if you are lucky enough that you like your job and you like the people you work with, it's very easy to find new things with a character. You're very comfortable with a character. You know them inside and out, and you just enjoy what you're doing. When you enjoy what you're doing, it's easy to do whatever you want with it. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, it becomes a chore. And I think that's really the extent of it.
I mean, unlike Vanessa, my experience was I wasn't in every single episode. I would do, like 3 to 4 episode storyline arcs twice a season every year.
But you still had to follow the show when you were not on it.
Yeah.
To understand where you were in the thing.
Exactly.
I love the 5-year gap, by the way.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I would call and I would call the production office and ask for the scripts kind of in between when I was there, because I would come back and there would be things that were happening. I'm like, well, what the fuck is this?
I think it's harder to recur, honestly, because you're out. You miss a whole chunk of time. If you're there every day, you know exactly what's happening. You know exactly what's going on in the episode, and like I said, you can really just kind of sit in the character.
Right. And I got very, very, very lucky, and I'm really grateful to our team of writers. Because I was dispensable from that show.
Yeah, but the fans loved you. The fans are number one.
Yeah, but I mean, like they could have found ways to have said, oh, Lucas went off to go do this thing, and then he's never to be seen again. So they found, and they did this with a couple of actors on the show who recurred, finding creative ways to bring us back. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And I think, in those kind of situations, it's kind of a different thing every single time that you come back, because you're in this closed story arc. So it wasn't as big of a challenge for me, particularly to keep it fresh, because they were always giving me something different to do every single time. Like I think, after the time jump, for example, all of a sudden I was like rich, because I had sold.
And your condo was fabulous, by the way.
The condo was great, and
your clothing changed, everything changed.
Everything changed, my hair, the whole thing. So yeah, I mean that wasn't as big of a challenge for me personally, and I can't speak to being in almost every scene of every episode for 100 episodes.
Well, it's funny because Switched was I've been acting for a very long time, but Switched was my first experience of a show that got picked up and stayed on the air.
Yeah.
And it was so centric on you.
It was. And that was the thing, is because The Comeback just went for a season. Scoundrels just went for a season. Gilmore Girls ran I was on it for 2 years, but it was recurring. My very first job was a show called Without a Trace, and that went for 7 years, but I was on it on and off. So it's a different experience for sure.
And something where you're like really carrying it too, Yeah,
I mean, what was nice for us, which worked out, is it wasn't like an Alias, right? Where it's like it's just Jen Gardner all the time. It was like it was me in scenes, and it was Katie in scenes, and then it was the adults in scenes. Like we actually had a nice kind of ensemble feel to the show that made it easy for people to sleep, which is great because you're not losing every day to 16-hour days.
Well, especially being up in Valencia too.
We shot in Valencia.
Oh,
I know.
On purpose.
That was a true statement. Yeah. I mean, they have a great Starbucks drive-through. So true.
You guys, this has been so much fun. If you're in the Hollywood area, you have to see Vanessa, Brandon, and Stan's director.
Go to brownpapertickets.com for tickets to see our show. We're only through February 4th, and then hopefully off Broadway. I want to take the show to New York so they can be seen there, but I think it's also very timely. All this stuff about this happening with frat life and that culture, politically, everything. I think we need to talk about this. And you're laughing and then you're hating yourself for laughing.
Real fast, what do you guys get from doing theater? When your career is at a certain point, instead, I'm talking to you too. When your career is at a certain point and you do theater, like you guys performed, what's the seat theater?
50.
Yeah. I sat in a 50-seat theater. Yeah. Get all of this was unbelievable. Why do you guys do it?
Because there's no other feeling like theater.
Yeah.
That's where it all begins.
That's the high that everyone from a writer, from a director, from an actor is chasing, is what theater is.
It's instant gratification.
And something that intimate. It's not
Yeah.
like a huge theater. You're there with this group, and every night this little group comes together, and it's a little bit different. And they
Every
laugh, or
night,
they
yeah.
hear things, or they don't want to laugh, or they're very vocal. And it's such a cool live experience that you can't get on your phone. You only can get in person, and that's what's
It's
so
like a
cool
team
about it.
sport.
And to
And-
see
It
these
is.
two live
Yeah.
up close, it's such a great experience.
That was a thrill for me.
yeah, for
And
me.
then-
For me too.
I mean, these particular characters too are the playwright Paul Schulberg wrote. There's 6 people in the play, and they're all fantastic. And layered characters, but these two in particular, there's just like a lot of stuff. Yeah,
There's a lot happening.
So that's been. I mean, I'm sure for you as well, Vanessa.
The whole
it's been
company,
really
the understudies,
fun.
everybody. We became such a big group family that I didn't want to let this go, and I wanted to keep it going from Fringe, and that's why I spent the time to do it again.
Thank you. No, it was a great night of theater, and to see everything together. Patrick,
Yes, sir.
you're going to sing us a little bit.
Oh, Jesus. And
Sing
we're-
sing us out, yeah, as they say.
No, we still have rapid fire real
not-
fast.
yeah.
Oh.
But Patrick, you're gonna. What's your favorite style to sing in?
You know, I haven't sung in years. I was in a band in university or college, and
Johnny Depp was, and then he did Sweeney Todd, written by Stephen Sondheim. So that's the leap you could do.
That was a lot.
was it bad?
It was.
Did you know that Meryl
my
Streep
God.
originally wanted to be in that?
Was she supposed to be Mrs. Lovett?
She wanted to be.
Hello, Michelle Pfeiffer was supposed to be in Evita, and she has her screen test. She recorded 3 songs.
No, are you serious?
She got
Can you
pregnant.
find that on like YouTube?
Yes, YouTube. Look up Michelle Pfeiffer. She recorded "Don't Cry from Argentina," "Surprisingly Good for You" in Buenos Aires.
Stan's looking it up
watch that.
right now.
I am.
Yeah.
Evita is my favorite musical in the whole world.
Really? Evita?
I saw Jesus Christ Superstar live with the Ted Neely and the original Judas.
Carl
And
Anderson.
Yes,
Carl Anderson,
I watched
yes.
them both live, and it was mind blowing. Because I think Carl died like 3 years after that or something, but Ted's still rocking it.
Ted is still rocking it. In fact, he was in Orange County. He was supposed to be on the show. He's a very conservative person. Yes.
I
But-
love the hand movement that just happened
Yeah,
right
that-
there.
that
They
was-
both just went.
Yeah, there was
This
like
is
a,
my
a whole
cardio.
other
Oh,
conversation
this
that
is
we
the
weren't
most-
privy to.
No words.
Amazing.
All right, Patrick, just a little song.
You're putting me on the spot here. What are
It
you
could be
looking
very
for?
gentle. It could be.
Do you know the parting glass?
I don't know. The parting glass.
I said very gentle. Now you're giving him like an obscure. Like,
Right. And it's
What's your favorite
Irish.
style?
Some Willie
There's
Nelson.
a-
A Willie Nelson.
There's
song.
there's a guy in Canada you probably haven't heard of. His name's Gord Downey, and Gord Downey died last year, but he was the head of the greatest rock band that ever graced Canada, and they never broke in the States. Anyway, he was diagnosed with cancer, and then he decided to take his band on tour across Canada.
Oh wow!
And there was on my Instagram, there's a photo because Eric took me to one of the shows, Eric McCormick, and we got to see this man live. And it was like the New York Times wrote something about him saying that if it was Bruce Springsteen and what did they say? It was just you're not even getting close to who this guy meant to Canada. And I've been listening to a lot of.
There you go.
Oh, my Siri just went
He's
off.
already calling Uber. That's what this show is. Sorry.
But I've
What's
been
the
listening.
song called?
Oh, I wasn't even going for a song. I
You're
was
not
just
gonna
telling you
sing?
That's what I was listening to.
All right,
And
well,
there's a
there you
song
go.
Where he says, "Does it diminish your super capacity to love? Does it diminish your?" You got to look up Gord Downey. He's a poet. He's Leonard Cohen. He's Neil Diamond. He's everything to Canada.
Little Anne Murray. There you go.
It was amazing. So Gord Downey is what I've been listening to a lot. His last album came out
Humously.
Thank you. And
She's a smart one.
Vanessa, true or false? You're coming back to guest co-host the Vanderpump Rules episode.
True.
Done. Okay. All right, we do a little thing here called Rapid Fire. Who wants to go first?
we haven't been doing rapid fire. I thought this was rapid fire.
Vanessa
the
will
whole
go
time.
first because she talks so fast. There we go.
All right.
Go. Give it to her. Shoot.
What reality show would you want to be stuck on?
Oh, Real Housewives of New York.
Biggest co-star pet peeve?
Biggest co-star pet peeve. When they say lines that they say in the script but use it in everyday life.
Okay. If you could go back in time and play any lead in any film, Which one?
Oh, I mean, probably Scarlett O'Hara. I know she does it
Totally
so
see
well,
that.
but I love that movie, and that character is
Totally
so
see that.
fantastic and evil and mean and fabulous.
I really see that. After a day of filming, what is your ritual?
Go home, turn on Bravo, fall asleep to Bravo. We're soulmates.
Where do you live?
Where do I live? In Los Angeles.
No, but like what area?
I'm not saying that.
Like West Hollywood, North Hollywood.
My home just got broken into last
so let's
week.
not go there. Yeah.
Oh my God, what if it was me?
You do follow celebrities home.
But Bravo.
Bravo.
Best kisser on screen that you've had.
Oh, best kisser
Brendan.
on screen.
Off
Brendan.
screen.
Well, it wasn't screen, but obviously Brendan, 110%. But there you go.
No, but you guys haven't kissed on screen.
We have not kissed on screen. On screen. I'm gonna give Blair Redford that from Switched at Birth. I will. Mm-hmm.
All right, who's next? Brendan or Patrick?
Patrick.
Okay.
There we go.
One thing you were surprised to find out that you missed on the mountain.
A bathroom.
It's probably a person's name. Actually.
I see what you're saying. One thing that I, a pillow.
No, not like that, but like something like
This is rapid fire.
Food, hot dogs.
There you go.
hot dogs.
How about that?
One thing American actors do that surprise you.
Jesus.
Hot dogs.
That's funny. You should write comedy.
Why do you always sound so surprised?
Uggs. They're always wearing Uggs.
I do love Uggs.
It's obnoxious.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Vanessa.
It's like walking on a cloud.
I didn't allow them in our
can't.
show. She showed
No,
them
we
to me.
can't.
I nixed them.
Star Wars or Star
Actually,
Trek?
you'd accepted that.
Star Wars. Yeah, but I mean, after The Last Jedi,
Casey.
I'm not sure.
Time period you would travel to.
Oh, 20s Paris.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like Midnight in Paris era.
That's
My
wonderful.
God, Patrick.
Yeah.
Right. God, I wish you were gay. Most embarrassing song on your playlist.
See, I'm not even embarrassed by this, but we built a city on rock and roll. Everyone says it's the worst
a great
song, but
song.
That's a
Come
great
I
song.
adore that
That's-
song.
My thing
Yeah.
is like Hanson Mbop. You
I've
don't
got
have-
that. I've lost my cookie at the disco.
Okay, that's
Cookie Monster. No?
Brendan.
Uh-oh, here we go.
And Brendan, I have to say, you are very private in your life.
Sure. Yeah.
He's not even going to give you an answer on that.
I
No,
hit him with
that's
that.
how private.
Let's
I don't
see
know
what-
what that. I don't know what that means.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you anything so deep. What is the one thing your Private Little Lives fans would be shocked to find out?
Pretty little.
Pretty Little Liars.
Pretty Little Liars.
Fan.
Sorry.
Oh,
you have
about
in your Pretty Little Life.
Private
about
little
me or about in
you.
general.
Do you see how he's already
I see.
deflecting? Yes, he's so private. I found nothing about you, but
This is
I
rapid
can,
fire.
I can juggle.
no, that's in 6 interviews.
As in 6 interviews.
Yeah.
Wow, you are
Yeah,
a keener.
he's good.
Yep. So you have to give us something else. You guys, I do research.
I love that.
You killed a hobo.
I went to. I was the valedictorian in my high school class.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
But then I also went to a high school with like 16 people in my class, so that doesn't really.
But you're
odds are
Rosen
good.
Island then.
Yeah.
What?
Rosen Island.
Shut up. He doesn't know. All right. I'll explain later.
I was born in 1990.
Okay. What's the next one?
I got this email. What's your binge food? Because I don't think you eat.
Ice cream.
What flavor?
Salt and straw, which is originally from Portland, which is where I'm from originally.
It's a fancy ice cream.
They have a sea salt and caramel ribbons.
So sea salt from Salt and Straw.
Sea salt from Salt and Straw.
Brendan Robinson likes the salt with the sweet, is what I'm learning today.
On-set personal must-haves, not like water, blah blah blah. Your personal.
God. My phone. And
No, personal.
personal. I don't know. Candy. There has to be candy at craft
What?
services.
Can you give me an example of what a personal must-have is?
No, it's like it's a picture of my dog. It's my dog, or it's like a rosary.
it's all that lube
Dogs
that I
are
was
actually
promised.
not allowed on the Warner Brothers lot. We had several
sneak them
young
on.
starlets.
Brendan Robinson is so PC. But
we
like-
had several young starlets try to sneak their dogs into the Pretty Little Liars stage. And that did not turn out well.
Last show you binge watched.
Better Call Saul.
Oh, interesting. What would the name of your biography be?
I can't believe that someone is writing a biography about me.
It's a little lengthy. It's a little wordy.
But it's interesting. I like it.
Read this biography.
Okay.
You guys,
So great.
let's give a hand to Kurt, by the way.
Welcome back, Kurt.
Welcome home.
You guys, I love you. I love every one of you. You're coming back
I
as
am
guest
coming
co-host
back.
for Vanderpump Rules.
I'm dead serious about this.
What is Vanderpump Rules?
It's the greatest
Oh
show
my
on
God.
television.
But I could tell you
You're definitely
who's
not
coming.
gay.
I can't tell you right now on air.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
don't tell.
Okay. You guys, Brandon, sorry, I have a gay crush on you. Sorry. Go see Pledge play in Hollywood because you get to see some really good acting. It's intense, it's uncomfortable, it's everything.
And Brendan and I take pictures, apparently. We're totally down to do that. That's what I've learned from today, is that Brendan and I subscribe to the same philosophy of, you're watching me, so let's take a
Take some
picture.
pictures.
If you stay afterwards, you can take a picture with
with them,
us.
yes.
Yeah.
So many.
Lots.
You
As
can
many.
learn-
Actually, that happened the other night. Like the lighting was off, and so they were like, "Can we
Well,
take
it's
another
funny.
one?" And we were
the
like,
only
"Yeah,
person
sure."
Vanessa did not take a picture with was me because I posted.
Oh, we'll do
Well-
one after this.
Yes,
Yes,
of course
we
we
will.
do. Kurt, welcome back.
Kurt.
He's like, oh God, what?
Don't you get an applause, Kurt?
Yes,
Come on.
That's okay.
Oh, he got a real applause.
Oh.
He got like an in-room
guys, I
applause.
love you. My mom. I hope you got a car tonight. Okay,
Mama
we'll see you
Rose.
next week. But we got some great stuff. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. This has been On the Rocks with Alexander, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Universal Broadcasting Network. Find me on Facebook on the Rocks Radio Show. Tweet me or Instagram me at On the Rocks On Air. See you next Tuesday.